welcome to Twin Flames Between Worlds podcast. My name is Tabitha.
And I'm Liesl.
Welcome to our mom's episode of A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas.
Woo!
So, like I just said, we got our moms here again today. So, yes, Mary is here, my mom.
And Mother Jenny.
Hi.
So, we are going to be going through the whole A Court of Wings and Ruin and try to do it in a succinct way while also still deep diving. So, again, we just want to say, like, overall, we are explicit. We all will cuss, very much so. So, be wary of little listening ears. And yeah, this will be spoilers for the whole ACOTAR book. So yeah.
Okay, well, to get us started, to get us into it, what was your overall reaction of the book?
I just finished it, so I have to
I know you have to think. How about Mary?
So Mary,
go
you
first.
go first because you read it twice, so you know.
I mean, I really enjoyed the whole book. I did. There were some parts of it that were just kind of weird, like the twin thing, and some of that plot there was just like, what the hell? But I mean, and I was pretty angry at Lucian, which I really want something good for him. But when the end of the last one and then the beginning of this one, it was like I was pretty angry with him. But I liked how the book progressed, plot, the new people that were brought in, especially the ones at the end. But yeah, I liked it.
Did you have a favorite or a least favorite moment?
Let's see.
Just base.
I think my least favorite, well, I don't know. I kind of am still upset at her sisters. That whole thing right there still just pisses me off because it's not her fault they got thrown in the cauldron. I mean, and they're blaming her, and it's like, no, and she's still so hell-bent on getting their approval. It just that part makes me angry. And my favorite part, I think, was at the end when they killed the king. That whole thing right there with Elaine ended up, I know we're not there yet. That whole thing, I liked that. I mean, that part right there, that was pretty
Good choices. So, overall thought?
I think, I like Mist and Fury better as a whole book. That there were a lot more bargains in this book. Like all the bargains was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like mother, like daughter.
Oh yeah, is that what you like too?
I keep mentioning that all the time.
Yeah, I like that. Let's see if there's anything else I kind of zoned out in a lot of the battle scenes. I thought the battle scene at the end of Mist and Fury was much easier to follow and more interesting. Let's see. I'm a suspicious reader, so I never trust who's a good guy or who's a bad guy. So,
you are too.
I'm mad at you.
So I wasn't sure about Lucian and I wasn't sure about Jurian, and I kind of didn't like the Queen Vasa coming in at the end. I thought that was kind of lame, to tell you the truth. It was I don't know, not lame, that's too strong. I was I don't know. She was just extra. It wasn't enough to really set her up. It was like she was a caricature almost coming in. Oh, here's this new person. Do we like her? I don't know. Probably not, but what's going on with that?
Right, we didn't get much from her.
She was anyway.
So I think it was a lot of that. Was the whole last part is just a bunch of setup for setting up for the rest.
I know, and it was almost too obvious of a setup because it was so short. Everybody's alive and restored and stuff, and then Vasa, we don't like her. She's a bitch, So she must be the new villain for the next book. That's how it sets up for me. But it was almost like a caricature of the new villain because there was no other Tamlin's a little bit what's going on with Tamlin, but
no one knows what's happening with Tamlin.
So I don't know. We'll see. It's kind of like a Empire Strikes Back. I mean, not really, because it kind of tidied up. It didn't leave it all hanging, but I don't know. It felt like kind of a. I mean, I know the original was supposed to be this was a trilogy, and this was supposed to be kind of the end. So I guess it was kind of a little bit tied up pat. Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah. Let's see. I don't have to focus on the end because that's obviously the end is freshest in my head.
Maybe you'll think of some more moments as we go.
I did all the bargaining and the and honestly, I'm kind of shocked that none of those bargains went completely sideways. Why didn't any of those bargains go sideways? That's the whole thing about bargains in stories like this. It's you think you're making this bargain, but there's some loophole that you didn't think about, and now you're screwed. Now you have to get unscrewed, and it wasn't really any of that.
I see that. Rumpelstiltskin in Once Upon a Time, he was everything is at a place.
You'd have to decode what the offer he was trying to make.
Well, and I think with the monster characters specifically, honestly, they all had a fucking death sentence. I don't think, I feel if there was more of I think with the idea of Bryaxis is more of an open-ended. The bargain is a little bit weird now because it's like, okay, it was so ambiguous that where is he? Where did he go to? There's a left open there.
I have
Also,
my own theories about that.
well, says the other ones, like, they literally just were like, yeah, we're just gonna die because they're
Yeah, that
death
was really
goblins.
disappointing, like that the bone carver just died. Like,
Yeah, I don't know if he's actually dead, though. I mean, he may have got eviscerated, but I don't know if he's...
He's eviscerated, but he's not dead.
I don't know. I mean, because he's a dead god. I mean, can you really kill him? Maybe he'll regenerate as a weed or something on the battle. I don't know, but I don't think you.
That's true. You can't ever count anything. There's always like some mechanism. That was the thing. It was like the thing I didn't like was how the father just like shows up and then dies.
Honestly, yeah. Brought out the soldiers.
And then all of a sudden, like, Vera's like, oh, I love you. And like, she was like so mad at him for years and years and years. And now I mean, I know there's complications. Like someone who, I guess a father dies, even if he wasn't a great father, there's some feelings there. But it seemed like everything was forgiven because he brought a whole army and guess what? He was being a spy this whole time. So you have to forgive him.
It was the fact that he had such an, like, there was an epic entrance and then he went out like such a big battle.
He was, what are you gonna do?
I know. I felt bad that he couldn't have some epic, like, okay, I'm gonna knife
He
you.
didn't even get a soliloquy.
Oh, I know. I think that whole thing kind of tied it all up for the girls, because they know their dad loves them. He named the ships after him. Came in on the Nesta, know.
It was a little bit pet.
Okay,
we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, we are getting ahead. So let's start at the beginning. So thank you guys.
Because that was an overview. That was just like highlights.
That was us talking to each other because we haven't talked all together about this. So as I'm starting the beginning, there were 3 major points that I wanted to talk, because the beginning is a lot of exposition, but also we're setting up this new dynamic, right? Because we ended the last book at Feyre is now in the spring court, and now she has to muddle this political water. What did you guys think about? First of all, what did you guys think about the prologue? Because I like that a lot.
Oh, on the Reese
Reese prologue battlefield.
I like that too. That was a nice, well, not nice, but it was interesting to read things from his perspective because you usually don't get to see that.
It feels like kind of nice though that you got his perspective after the last book ended, more so in his. Well, not exactly in his, but
Well, so maybe I thought that was like a flashback to the first war.
Yes,
it was. Okay, but then it never really tied in to anything. I didn't think, except that there was going to be a final battle in this.
I think the point of that was to set up, because like in ACOMAF he talked about, ACOMAF was a lot of setup about how tragic the war was and like what it costed everybody, foreshadowing like everybody worrying about everybody else and like the battlefield atmosphere. I don't think it was necessarily like there was a hint there. It was just setting up the war element.
Like lots of bodies, and the fact that even though he was exhausted and drained and could hardly hold his wings up, he was still walking around through tons of bodies looking for his friends, unsure if they'd be there.
So that was, first of all, that was one of my, I like when a book starts out with a cool prologue. It's like, yeah, we talked about this last book. Like, I was like, yeah, we talked about this. So then starting with, how did you like Feyre playing her role in the Spring Court? Because there was a lot of different elements to it, but I just want to know overall what you...
I enjoyed that immensely, that whole thing. When the last book ended and I'm like, oh shit, here she goes. I was kind of hoping she'd blow them all up. Get in there and just, clean them up. But I like how she did it. The covert part, I like that. They deserved it. I mean... I'm sorry. Well, not the people. Not Tamlin deserved what he got for being such a douchebag. But, and I like that Alice and Lucian were the only ones that really could see what she was doing.
Oh, Alice saw right through that shit.
Yeah.
She was like...
Alice.
Yeah, I love her. It's like, I was hoping she got out of there all right. But, yeah, I like that.
I thought this book would be more about that, and like that part would go longer, and that it would be more subterfuge and... She like couldn't hold her temper at all. And so like it would was really short, right? Like pretty soon she's like, yeah, fuck y'all.
Yeah, I agree. I also, especially rereading it, when I read it the first time, it felt like it was so long, and we talked about that. I think a practical reason of why she couldn't stay that long was because of the mating bond. If she stayed too long, they would have, because the scent or whatever it would linger for about a couple months, and then they'd realize, why is it still there? And then have to leave because they knew it wasn't fake. But yeah, so it was a lot of, it was Ianthe, it was... That's your entire audience.
Just say Ianthe.
I mean, that's what I thought about. It's like, I thought it would go on longer.
Oh.
And she would like hold her cool longer. Like play the double agent a little bit longer.
I thought, at least my perspective of it was that it was, you know how when you do a subterfuge though, the good ones are rooted in the truth though. So it was the fact that she spoke out and actually would get mad about things that actually made it seem so real to everybody, and which tricked Lucian for most of that.
You're right.
And so, because like there would be moments of Feyre coming out, but like especially with that whipping scene,
but it definitely played into the fact that she, you know, the ruse that Rhys had hurt her, you know, playing into the fact that she was still Feyre and adventurous and, you know, much braver after she came out from under the mountain, but then add into the fakeness of the acting part of Rhys hurting her.
I was surprised that she was like 5 steps ahead, because I was thinking, I was like, wait, at first the Ianthe thing confused me when the whole the hound situation, the Naga situation. I was like, wait, so so she was hoping, oh my god, she was that far ahead that she's like, oh, that was going to happen. She was going to do that, because I thought Feyre manipulated it to happen at first, but then it was like, no. A lot of people. So I just wanted to highlight about that, because a lot of people have a lot of controversy about that, and I wanted to know what you guys thought of her kind of flirting with Lucian, the whole playing into Tamlin's jealousy thing. Like, a lot of people in the fandom have a critical eye about that, and about how she's like sexually manipulating him.
I thought it was brilliant on her part. I really did, because she knew just what to do to get to him and to upset him. She knew exactly the buttons to push, and I thought that was pretty smart.
Yeah, I think if you're kind of playing a role, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, she's not interested in Lucian. We know that.
Yeah, Lucian could see through it, so Lucian kind of knew what was going on.
Yeah, no, Lucian was, that's why that confused me when that was a controversy that I heard, because I wanted to hear, like, I don't know, a more mature opinion, I guess, about it than ours.
Like, Lucian didn't know it was happening when it happened, but he understood it.
But it wasn't even sexual it's not like she got on top of him and was like, oh, we're doing this thing. She was, what was it? Like, a little of the nightshirt was down a little bit, and they were sweating, and they were just holding each other.
Literally, she was covered in sweat because she made herself sweat by thinking about her own fears.
That was her setup. She did that so she would get sweaty, and so her sheets would be all rumpled and everything like that.
Right.
But it wasn't like she actually jumped in Lucian's bed or anything like that. Like, it was all just suggestion.
I mean, he even put on pants.
Right.
Yeah, he put on pants to open the door.
Also, here's the whole thing. Alpha males, which is what Tamlin is, are just stupid.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're so wrapped up in their own toxic masculinity that you can just like, you just like jerk them around.
Yeah. And something that we brought it, like, Jenny's right. Tamlin played in her hand a deck of cards. Yeah. Every time. She just gave him more rope and he hung himself. He was 100% more his fault. Yeah, she was manipulating the situation, but and at that point she was just laying down the traps. He could have went the other way and decided against it, but he went that line that she knew he'd go.
Yeah. And on top of that, she manipulated Ianthe to manipulate him, and she didn't. So I know this isn't like a main point, but I am curious what you guys think of Ianthe's, like, with her like apology, and just how she thought like she was so ahead and stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's because I hate Ianthe so much, but
her apology sucked. I didn't, it was so fake. She's just fake.
Yeah, she's totally fake.
It's like, anytime they mention her, it's just like,
Yeah, exactly.
But, when she started the whole thing with those, what were them things? Them dog things.
The Naga
she
things.
Was talking about that. It was like, I could see it coming. I mean, she was trying to make herself more important.
The hero.
Than she actually is.
Every high school cheerleader.
So here's the funny thing, like in the solstice ceremony, like where she's like standing in the wrong spot, I'm like, how dumb are you, bitch?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
She needs a stone to know where to stand, and she doesn't even notice it's moved.
God, as an actor, I'm just like, you know where to set yourself. Like,
oh yeah, not like she's new either. She knows what.
Right, exactly.
She didn't even realize that Feyre had made it so that her and Lucian were separated from the rest of them.
Oh yeah, that was cool too.
Yeah, she's so dumb.
Dumbass.
An added part about the beginning though, so what did you think of the two Hybern royals, the incest twins, and then what did you think of Durian coming in?
Oh, those twins, man. They freaked me out the first time. They freaked me out this time. Like, God, I was glad they were gone.
They also really like fire.
They were just rogue.
Girl, shut the fuck up. Up every episode. He said it was Brennan said, Brenna said something about, ooh, Baron and his fire. And I'm just like, it's just like, oh, I would fuck Autumn too. And I'm like, eh. And then it was Feyre saying, oh, I don't want to imagine Elaine being subject to that fire.
Yeah, nobody wants to picture that. Your sister, your mom, your dad, nobody wants that.
I don't want to picture Elaine doing it.
I don't want to, Well, I mean, from like a sibling point of view, you don't want to hear, your siblings talking about, no.
Every time because she always has such a visceral reaction.
That just creeps me the hell out. I did not like that. I mean, I guess they really kind of had a little part there that to show, I guess. I think they represented what was coming from Hybern, or whatever.
It's Hybern.
Okay, whatever, him, the dude. I think it projected kind of the sense of how he was going to, when he came, it was going to be like them and worse. That's what they were supposed to be, I guess. And Jurian, well, he's shocked. I mean, if anybody should have got an award, it would be him. I mean, I was shocked.
I feel a little bit sorry for him. Like, he's like, how could you think that I would have turned while I was prisoner? And I'm like, oh yeah, you kind of got a point there.
Funny because he also is a human. He'd be the easiest person. He's like, why didn't you look in my head, bro?
Right.
That made sense, but I mean, I wouldn't have thought about it either. I didn't think about reading him.
He was the most, everybody went in with like hating Jurian, and then like when it actually happened, it was, we all had that Jenny moment of, oh yeah, it actually makes sense. Like,
yeah. He spent 500 years as a ring on Amarantha's hand, out of all things. They're after fighting against Faye.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
And honestly, like his reaction to like when those three children of the blessed came again across the he's just like tensed up immediately of like, oh shit.
Yeah.
He still cares for the human.
Yeah. Although I didn't trust it also. Like at the same time, I'm like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. But then I'm also like, yeah, but maybe he said that because it makes sense. And then
right. You don't know what his other side is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the beginning was to not only set up Spring's demise, but it was also to set up, I think Mom said, this level of impending doom of these creatures coming in that, or even like the Daemati feature specifically of having other Daematis in the, like, it's almost like Feyre was being put to the test on her new abilities.
Yeah.
And she
So that's the other thing, right? Like, I mean, I guess I was surprised. I'm like, oh, there's other Daematis. But then I was thinking, oh, like Daematis should like know that there are other Daematis and like know how to protect against them, kind of like in Harry Potter with the protecting against, and like, and so much of it was putting up walls and shields. Like, how come she wasn't shielding and thinking about shielding her allies and herself better?
Well, she did, but then she didn't know that she was getting poisoned.
Yeah,
and
so
it
made that
that's
weaker.
true.
It just slowly.
That's true.
And I think it was also the fact that it made her weaker because of how many different shields she ended up putting up. After she realized that they were Daemati, she's like, you guys couldn't get it to my mind. Oh wait, Tamlin and Lucian throws it up, and it's like, oh shoot, those are claws.
He had to protect their ass.
Right.
Yeah.
And then she had to she put up all these mental shields around everyone else that she came in contact with. So it's like
That's a
that
good
could
point.
come up. But also, like, why couldn't Tamlin have his own walls?
He's incompetent.
He's arrogant. He's a stupid alpha male.
He's like, I'm my lord, I don't need mental shields. Ever heard of Reese?
He was just so focused on her, with her, being with her, having her back, that I don't think he really thought much about anybody else, really. He was just focused on Feyre.
I saw this meme one time. It was like, I don't trust blonde fuckboys because Tamlin ruined me.
It's true. Only blue-eyed, dark-haired men for me.
Yeah, you do kind of have that type. But it's fair. But yeah, so she thoroughly wrecks the spring court wonderfully. I feel bad for the people, but
yeah,
the poor people suffering under an incompetent High lord.
Well, yeah, sorry, I don't interrupt you, but I think that's also another factor that is, I like that causation, is that, yes, we're excited and like gung-ho about Tamlin getting ruined, but then it does domino effect the rest when like everybody has to evacuate and, you know, people are dying and like Spring Court comes battleground zero.
Well,
And
Hybern's territory, basically.
yeah.
I think it was already on its way to falling apart anyway, because as soon as he sided with him,
Oh, yeah.
you know, his people,
Honestly,
you know.
Honestly, it was on its way down even since the 50 years that he was stuck there.
Yeah, true.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, for a while, he did give up on ever, like, finding a cure for the curse. So it's like, at that point, it was already going down. But moving on, so Feyre finally makes her move and makes her way out. Firstly, actually, I wanted to ask what you guys thought about her battle, her little fight with the twins. Like, when she was about to escape and she found Lucian and Ianthe and then had to fight the twins.
I thought she defeated them pretty easily, more easily than I expected.
Her training coming in handy.
I guess, but even like she was poisoned and they kind of got the drop on her. Like it wasn't for very long. You know, blam, we got.
It's either a testament to Cassian's training that they just weren't very much like a physical, if they were more magic wielders than sword wielding people.
Like Granite was not the physical person. She just stood there and watched.
No.
I think if they both were against her, she would have had more trouble.
Yeah, but Lucian helped.
Yeah, thank goodness for Lucian.
What do you think?
I thought it was, like you said, I thought the battle was kind of short. I mean, I would have loved to have seen them get tortured a little more because they were just creepy.
Yeah, the twin list.
I still,
Or it would have been cool if they showed up in the final battle or something. It's just like, oh, you know, we didn't finish this.
If they were like little villains that kept like poking up and causing trouble like the whole book.
yeah.
That could have been fun. No, she needed to get the incest out of the way.
Yeah, the whole thing just needed to go.
She just needed out of there in general.
Yeah, they just needed to go.
So the Ianthe Lucian thing definitely viscerally made me cringe.
That I felt bad for him. I hope he like really showered and after all that, having him.
I mean, yeah, I'm thinking about that. The fact that he did have to go through the rite with her.
That
just makes me so sad for him. But so what do you guys think of then like him deciding that he is coming with Feyre because he needs to see Elaine and thus their trek through the Autumn Court, Lucian's homeland?
Wait, where was Alice from?
Alice was from Summer Court. Mary, do you
I mean, they had to do that because then that set up the whole confrontation with Eris and everything. So, like, that's just how that got set up, I guess. It's kind of how I see it.
But considering that in Summer she had the blood ruby, so she couldn't go that way.
Yeah, makes sense.
And the middle was sealed off, so the only door left was Autumn.
And they wouldn't have wanted to go out the middle way.
Yeah.
Although, what are the chances of Lucian saying that he's coming with her and she just happens to have to go through Autumn?
Well, yeah. I mean, I knew he was going to go with her no matter what, or he would have went on his own. I mean, that's pretty much why he told the line with her all that whole time, because he knew that he had to follow her lead so he could get back to Elaine.
Oh, it's interesting that you say that because I also maybe thought he was going to follow her. It'd be one of those follow stories where she would have been by herself and then at some point she should be, you following me the whole time?
Yeah, that's what I think he would have went regardless of whether she took him or not.
Oh,
he
yeah.
was going to go. I mean, it just made sense. And
But
him, you know, we get to relive, to get a little bit of Lucian's past.
Yeah.
Meet his...
I mean, that's what sets it up to make him a believable ally. Like, if he just followed, like, they wouldn't have had that time to sort of feel each other out.
Yeah.
And sort of trust each other on a survival level.
And talk to each other a little bit about
Cuckolding
everything
Tamlin.
that happened and him, letting Tamlin do all that shit to her and not helping her. That needed to happen too. They needed to get back. I mean, Lucian deep down is not a bad guy. He just...
He followed.
Yeah, he screwed up and he knows it. But, I mean, I kind of like getting to meet his brothers and going through Autumn. Well, I mean...
You liked it?
Well, it was kind of interesting to see, his brothers, his court, where he's from, because you don't get to talk about him that. You don't get... They haven't really talked about Autumn that much, so that was interesting to go through. And I liked his mom, Lucian's mom.
We didn't get really to see her.
Well, no, but when she helped,
the first book?
Feyre in the first book, I knew there was something
I forgot about that.
special about her or something, because she wouldn't have done that, I don't think. But I liked it. I mean, as far as like a background for Lucian, and them getting to talk to each other.
I think that brings up what we said at the beginning, though, of this being one of those, okay, it's an end book, but still has opening to it, is like, first of all, they needed Lucian to have some sort of redemption, because Feyre wouldn't have redeemed himself if they didn't go on this excursion together, or have the time they did over, it set up the Lucian redemption arc. It also set up us going into another court and the courts getting actually brought into the fold for this book. And then also, I think something this book did a lot, and maybe this is something I like, maybe it's not a general consensus, but I like when things have been brought up in succession and then all of a sudden we're seeing it, right? Because it's like, we talked about Autumn so many times in terms of, who rules it, where Lucian's from, but now we're getting like crash course, and it felt kind of cool that so many moments in this book that kind of happened, where it's like, oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
What did you think about Eris and the other Autumn brothers showing up, giving them hell?
I mean, they were just bullies, but we already knew that.
Yeah, that's true. Like following them and even following them into Winter Court.
Yeah, it was kind of surprising.
I didn't think it would go that far. They'd stop. I was kind of shocked about that.
Kind of shows Baron's not really following by the rules.
Is it funny, Liesl, that instead of, because before when the brothers came to attack Lucian, they went down spring. Now they're going up.
It's like they're just following poor Lucian around, just wanting to kill him.
God.
She's like, what? And on top of that, they'll kill Lucian and then they'll capture Feyre and take her back to Baron. Whoop-de-doo. That sounds like a great plan.
I don't understand their whole, well, later on, I kind of get it. He's what, 7th? He's the 7th son, right? He's the 7th in line. Yeah. I mean, what the hell?
Well, to be fair, though, this is ACOTAR lore. It says that it doesn't matter who's in line. It goes to the strongest person. So
or the most deserving.
It technically could go to any of them. So
true, but
or none of them.
Not going to make him. They didn't like him when he was born. That was obvious from what he said, and how they treated him. They didn't like him at all.
Relatable.
But, yeah, because he was the most, I think, he had the most conscience, I think, of them all.
The nicest, the most lord-like.
Yeah.
So now we're out on the ice, and Feyre is finally starting to get some of her magic back, finally after that dosing of Faebane. And then we suddenly hear cracks in the ice, and we see 2 heroes arrive.
Oh,
what do you guys think of our 2 favorite bat boys arriving? Well, 2 of our 3 favorite bat boys arriving to save us. Not save us, geez. To save Feyre.
Save us, yeah.
I'd go on ice for that. Me too. Well, I was waiting. I knew they were going to be coming. I just didn't know when. And I knew they were going to make a big entrance.
Did you think that it was going to be as in Cassian, or did you think it would be like Rhys?
I honestly did not think Rhys would come in. I didn't think so. Because if he would have showed up, they would all been eviscerated. They just would have
missed it.
They'd have been gone. They don't need that right now. He needed to stay away until she could come to him. And so that we know he knows she's okay. Yeah, those 2 I was waiting. It's like it's gonna be one of them. Both of them. It's gonna be I was hoping.
Well, plus it couldn't be Rhys because Rhys and Lucian still have some bad blood, right? And so you can't have them meet each other for the first time, sort of away from the courts
in someone else's court
without a controlled situation. That wasn't the right time for them to meet.
Yeah. I mean, I think me and Liesl both agree that we liked it. I think I was glad it wasn't Rhys. I was kind of happy that it was them because it did, especially the cuteness of Cassie and Azriel really, missing them as their family dynamic coming in play was sweet.
Yeah. And I think it was written in such a way that, last time Feyre saw them, Az had an arrow shot through his chest and Cassian's wings were completely shredded.
Yeah,
and the entire time she didn't know how they were healing, if they were going to be okay. So I think it was perfect for them to be the ones to rescue her.
Yeah, right. So that they were okay. Yeah.
And then what do you think of their return to Valaris?
I mean, it's a homecoming.
Yeah.
And Rhys's dramatic appearance again of so you're High Lord? It's indeed she is. Graphic audio.
Having this deep guttural voice in the crook of the door, just indeed she is. And I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah, the graphic audio really helped with it.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Everyone brought it up.
What a good sex scene. What a good level of, okay, we're kind of talking, but also he's taking care of her, putting her in the tub, and then this level of just no, it's ravishing now. I'm doing it.
Would that be if you just looked at someone and went, clothes it on? How handy is that? I mean, come on, you don't have to go through all that crap just in your clothes. You knew as soon as they got together it was going to be explosive. I mean, come on. It'd been how many months? 2-3 months.
Yeah.
They'd been apart. Oh yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I haven't listened to that audio. It sounds like I need to.
Yeah, you should listen to that.
Yeah.
I think for me, like, that scene was just more impactful though, because, you know, unlike when Feyre returned to the spring court after being at the night court and Tamlin was grilling her and interrogating her for answers, you know, she expected the same from Rhys, and he's like, no, I'm just gonna spend time with you right now. We can talk later. So I think that's what I really appreciated. Of course, the ravishing was great, but
Yeah.
So what did you think about the return, homecoming, and following sex scene?
I like that the sex scene thought it was like a good length of a sex scene, right? Like, it wasn't too fast, but it also wasn't like too slow and labored, and like, I thought it was pretty good.
To be fair, they had more non-flowery terms this book.
They did, except they still had the stupid apex nerve bundle at the apex of my thighs.
Yeah.
I think, I will tell you though, I'm pretty sure, I actually looked this up, I'm pretty sure she can't say, because of the rating that she has, she can't say the actual body parts.
Maybe.
Oh, really?
Like, okay, sorry. She can't say clit in a PG, than the book rating that she has it. So she has to make it apex.
She's got to make it generic. Well, that makes sense. I mean, if, you know.
I'm not giving her an excuse. I'm just saying, I'm like.
Yes, I mean.
Yeah, I get it.
Although you would think, like, maybe you could try and find different ways to say it.
I mean, she didn't talk about it too much. I don't know. I guess that's true.
Look that up in a thesaurus and they give you different meanings for that.
Why don't you look up clit in the thesaurus?
Yeah, what is it?
I don't know. I hate them all.
I didn't say.
Oh, really?
I'll remember to do that later.
Yeah, so
all right.
So Jenny, I'm not giving her an out. I'm just saying, I'm like, oh, I like looked up the rating thing and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's
I guess that makes sense. And I guess now when I'm like, oh, I guess can't stand like with romance or like all these like stupid euphemisms.
Like, oh,
and it's
it might
just,
be
like,
the book rating.
It's like supposed to be like all like flowery and poetic and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't know.
Some do it by choice, some do it by the book
guess
rating.
that makes sense.
Is Fourth Wing?
no.
I was gonna say because
Fourth Wing's adult.
More spicier than.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh, good lord.
I guess my thing with like erotica is like it's not so much like explicit like body parts that are doing stuff that is like turn on for me. Like, I mean, you know, like the general action or whatever, you know what they're doing and not just fade to black. You know, it's like you need more than that. But like, I don't know. I'm not saying I could do it better. I'm not saying I could.
But as a reader, you're allowed to have a tea.
Yes. I mean, there wasn't as much of it. There wasn't as much corny euphemism.
Maybe that's something to do with the fact that Tamlin was really corny and Rhys is more mature
and flowery.
Well, no, even in the first sex scene, Rhys and Feyre was cheesy.
That's true.
But I also did like that it wasn't just about, you know, fucking and orgasms. It was about the whole like sensual and pouring their bodies again, and you know, the touching of all the body parts and the wings and the and
apex.
Oh, the wings,
right? And the breathing and the breath and the sounds. Like, I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah. So of course I had to talk about that. That's one of my favorite parts.
Yeah,
the ravishing.
Yeah. But you know what? Look, when you've been separated from your lover for a long time and then you come back together, it's like it's passionate, but it can also be really tentative. Like, do we still know how to do this? Like, what has changed in our lives? Like, how do we feel? How we've been apart? So it can be, in some ways, like not the fiery, like first sex passion, but like a very different kind of reuniting. And in a lot of ways, like the second time together after you've been parted can be just a lot more like traditionally passionate. It's like,
yeah, we remember. We remember how to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I guess then, you know, being back in Valaris now that we got the ravishing out of the way, him literally kicking everybody out of the house yet again.
Rhys likes to do that, apparently.
Well, it's his house.
Dude, if I had a guy like kick everybody out of the house, that'd be sort of hot to me.
Well, yeah, would you really want to stay?
Wait, me stay with the guy?
No, the other one. Would you really want to stay?
God, no. Yeah, not them.
I'd go shopping.
You're into that.
True. No kink shame. So,
no, but I wouldn't want to. I'm good.
So yeah, with them back finally in Valaris, and you know, we got 2 new people added to this family. So Nesta and Elaine, okay? Nesta is still being her bitchy self and probably more so. And then also Elaine is just in this pure depressive thing, which we talked about constantly in our podcast. So I want to get your guys' thoughts about them getting integrated back into this story and also her lives again.
The sisters thing.
My overall impression is I thought it was kind the way that they gave them space to just be and not like forcing them to be normal or whatever, right?
To accept their fae immediately.
Right, or to like immediately start in on interrogating them or trying to figure out what happened, or it seemed like there was sort of a recognition that they needed some healing time.
Yeah.
That being said, they were kind of left alone a bit, and it seems like that couldn't be that good for them.
Isolated up in the House of Wind.
Yeah, like
10,000 steps from civilization.
Yeah.
Somewhere a little bit back from that. Like give them space, but also kind of don't let them isolate.
Let them meet other people, get used to it.
Or meet family, or...
Yeah, because they were up there for, like, in the House of Wind for 2 to 3 months by themselves, and then only getting Cassian and Azrael maybe coming in every now and then. So yeah, they were very, again, like you said, that's actually a good way to put it. Like, they were left alone, and that was good, but also they were too isolated to where, like, they were literally above everybody in society, and so they just had to look down. And so that feeling of already feeling like they're not, they're taken out of their community now.
I mean, yeah, but on the other hand, though, I don't think anybody really would want to be around Nesta. You know, I mean, she, at this point, I still didn't like. I didn't like her at all. But, I mean, it would have been, if somebody would have tried to approach her, or if they would have let her out in the public, it probably would have not been good, because she wasn't in a place to be around people.
How about fairy therapists? Do they have those?
We talked about that in one of our episodes, and it's like, we don't really think so. They don't really have that.
No,
Their therapy usually consists of fighting or fucking.
True.
Yeah, and then Elaine, I mean, I kind of felt bad for her because nobody really did much for her. They just kind of let her sit there and fade away. But I mean, I get it. I understand. But it was like, I don't know. I was kind of surprised at that because that's what happened.
Because we wanted to hear ideas about Elaine. I will say personally, I think we both had this, Liesl, but we both Elaine's kind of an enigma, because at first I totally understood it, and I just kind of, especially in my first read, I went along with it, and I was like, yeah, poor Elaine or whatever. And then after rereading it and then rereading it over and over again, I went, there are so many red flags with her that I didn't even freaking see. And I was like, okay, there was so much, I don't want to say bipolar, but there was so much wish-wash with her that it's like, okay, I know
mood swings
that that can happen, especially when something traumatic has happened, but also she did it to almost a manipulative extent.
Yeah, and you don't really know what Cauldron did to either one of them. You don't know. I have a theory about her, but that's not right now. Yeah, I mean, you don't know how it affected either one of them. I mean, obviously, Nesta, something really happened to her because everybody froze when she came out. I mean, and then Elaine, she came out, she was a mess. But you don't really know what it did to her. I mean, she's kind of like in PTSD.
Yeah.
She's mourning the fact that she can't marry Grayson.
Yeah, that seemed to be the only thing she really cared about. But I was kind of surprised they just kind of didn't, I don't know, attempt to do more for her. Mm-hmm. Or maybe they did and we just don't. I don't know.
Or Nesta scared them away from helping her.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Oh.
Yeah. Although, it's not like Nesta did anything. She was just bitchy. Right?
Yes.
You can just, call people on their bitchiness. You don't have to be I don't know. They're all ooh. Just call her on her bitchiness. Make her, do something about it.
I mean, Cassian kind of did at that one point when she's like, if you don't back up, and he's like, you'll what?
Yeah, there should have been more of that. IMO.
Cassian is that person for her because nobody knows how to interact with her, because they think they know how they should interact with her, and they're afraid that if they do kind of blow for her, that's a bad way of saying that.
If she'll blow up.
That it will be worse if they go as far as she is, but I think especially Jenny is right in terms of Nesta is wanting somebody to do that, but no one is stepping up to plate to do it.
They just let her roam around the house, being her weird self, and I'd be like, dude, you can either join in or go to your room. Be like that. Go somewhere else.
You're scared of her, right?
Buzzkill and weird, and you're rude. Stop being rude. Go away.
Well, I wonder if she had some kind of aura around her too that made people, stay away from her, because obviously something happened to her in the Cauldron, which we all know that. But I mean, I wonder if she had some kind of, I don't know.
Well, even Devlin said in the camp, her scent is horrible. At least to them. She smells like somebody who has gained more power than she should normally possess. And so not only is she made, but she has this level of aura of oh god, I'm trying to think of another thing, another reference for this, but of just somebody who has gained way way too much power. If they have read Fourth Wing, I would have said Venom, and you would have gotten it. But yes, a witch who has gotten more power than she actually deserves, and so that's that. Yeah. So as we're moving on, so the two big things during this very, I would say, intermediate section is the two things I wanted to bring up was the flying lesson and the library. And so the very interpersonal Asriel flying lessons was something especially Liesl, appreciated. So I wanted to get your guys' opinion on that.
Well, here, I'm the realist always, and I'm like, skeleton to have wings? It doesn't just attach to your back muscles.
She created the skeleton
I
with
know, but humans with wings doesn't make any sense, period.
That's okay.
Because actual animals with wings, that's their arms, right?
That's
so
true.
for humans to have arms and wings, it just skeletally doesn't make any sense to me.
I suppose that's true.
Right? And here's the other thing, and this was a whole thing through the whole book, is she gets sore from training and whatever, and she's sore for 3 days, which is that's real, your real human stuff. But she has this healing power. Why doesn't her healing power just make her not sore?
Maybe that's the reason that it only takes 3 days to
I don't know. But also, if she's shape-shifting her body, make more muscles. Jesus!
I can see that, but it does make me curious, though, if she added more muscle, would that then change the shape wing?
But her whole thing was I can't even lift myself up. I'm so big on the house.
Maybe magic has its limits.
Yeah.
That's the problem with magic stories. Is you didn't make the rules whatever you make them.
That's true.
which is my reverse logic, which is so
keep it consistent.
Make her not sore. It'd be more realistic. It'd be when in Harry Potter they were learning to ride their brooms. It takes them to time to figure out what the balance is and the
Not
right motion. Whatever. But as a skill, it takes time to figure out what the skill is. And you grow up with wings, right? That would make sense that you to figure out how it all works. But the whole I'm not strong enough to do it. That didn't make sense to me. It'd be just better if she's I keep crashing because I don't know how my wings work.
She's going to crash a lot though.
Right, but not because she was weak. In the book, it's because she was weak. And it would have been, in my opinion, better if it was just because she didn't know how her wings work. And she would step on them or something, clumsy or something.
I would be the one to step on my wings.
Oh, for sure. Knock them into things or...
Also me.
Yeah, very much.
Or it turns out it tickles when the air blows under your armpit or something
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a realist.
No, I mean...
Well, it brings that into it because we get very focused just on the hot male.
Yeah, that's what I'm focusing on.
Oh, did I miss a whole thing about Asriel being a hot male doing teaching?
Yeah?
Oh.
Did you miss that?
Yeah, I missed that.
I take offense. Azzy is my boy.
Just thought it made more sense for him to teach her because, like he said, he didn't learn to fly until later. And I mean, as far as her, I thought it made sense for her to be hurting because it's she's got new extension on her body. She's not quite sure what to do with it. Plus, she's still trying to figure out how all of the powers that she got, how she's going to work them.
Yeah. Because when I was thinking about the muscles, I thought it was the muscles attached to her back, not on the actual wings itself.
Well, the attach point.
Yeah, so I was any new thing that you're going to have to do, there's a level of... So I guess in my point of view, I thought kind of the opposite of you. I thought it was very realistic in the fact that she just didn't learn it right off the bat. That there was this level of training that she had to have and, having to build those muscles up instead of just getting them. Because I guess maybe in my practical minds, the opposite of yours, but my practical mindset is you can't necessarily see the muscles, and maybe that part of the magic that it's okay, because I can't see the muscles in there, I don't know how it...
Yeah, when she was training with Cassian.
I can see how they look on the outside, and I can replicate what I'm seeing here, but I can't replicate what I see on the inside.
That's what Az was helping her with, of telling her where to enforce certain parts or finish others.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
I did think he was a good teacher, though.
Considering he also learned late.
Yeah.
I think that would have been better than Reese or Cass teaching her.
And you got to get to know him a little more, to his dry sense of humor and a little bit more about him. I mean, you heard a little bit about him, but not a whole lot. So
I like seeing his cocky side.
Yeah, that was tree. Yeah, that whole thing with the tree. We're smacking into that tree, that was pretty good.
Tree? That tree just appeared out of nowhere. It's well, I'd say that it's probably been there for about 200 years.
Yeah. Well, of course, Liesl would want to see his cocky side.
I want to find out. I want to find out more about.
Apparently he has the biggest wingspan, that's all I'm saying.
And according to SJM herself, is the kinkiest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait. That book better hurry up. I'm tired of waiting. I'm over it.
I guess then, just because, again, this happens a lot over I didn't know necessarily where to put it in our outline, but especially since it happens in kind of the little intermediate section, I just want to get your guys' gauge on Lucian and Elaine and their interactions over the time and just like them, I guess, as a couple. Well, they're not, but
Lucian wants to.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say because he feels whole and she doesn't.
well, you don't know if she does or doesn't.
Well, at least we assume she does because she doesn't say anything about it. If she did, she's just not saying anything. I mean, I kind of feel bad for him because, he finally found his mate and then he's just like a basic walking coma of a person. And she doesn't, I don't know. I feel kind of bad for him. But also, though, I mean, the way he's handling the situation with her says a lot about his character, too. He's not in there, in her face trying to shake her and like, you're my mate. You gotta, he's not doing any of that. He's just kind of I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like courting someone. He's respectful with her, whatever going on.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, he was a little bit of a puppy, like lovesick puppy.
Yeah.
But it didn't go on too long. So I guess he was trying to find ways to be useful and not just sit around and wait for her to come downstairs and then try to talk her into, you're my mate, you have to be my mate. Didn't do that, so that was good.
Yeah.
Too much.
I think when first reading it, I was kind of pro team Azriel and Elaine, and then when I read it again, I was like, no, but Lucian, honestly, I feel like Azriel is too good and too much for Elaine, and also Lucian, I feel like is so perfect for her, but they're not perfect right now.
Right.
He's perfect for her when they finally both grow up. I can see the foresight of their grow up and them actually becoming a good couple, but how they're not good in the moment. You don't agree?
No, I mean, I understand, but it's I really thought that Elaine was going to be with Azriel.
Well,
I really did.
You don't know that yet.
I mean, I was shocked at the end to find that Lucian was her mate. Because, I mean, but then again, it's okay, well, I don't know. I have some issues with Elaine that have nothing to do with future books that I won't. Have to get mad at me when I do that.
Yeah, don't talk about it.
Yeah, I know. I'm not. Yeah, I know they can break a bond and all that. I get at it.
I'm just waiting to see what happens because they weren't together very much in the whole book. So
That's true. Lucian was out of.
I did think their whole meet cute was cute, though. Don't you agree? Most beautiful woman I've ever seen, and then her saying Lucian, and then him being like heart palpitation.
Yeah.
So thank goodness Feyre went into his mind so we could see that he is truly a male on the inside.
Mate her.
Most beautiful female I've ever seen, even though she looks half dead. Skinny.
Yeah. To be fair.
And then it's just Lucian, you were there. I hate you.
The transition of that was wild.
Yeah.
You were the one that put us in there. Poor Lucian.
She's not wrong.
No, she's not.
He was a follower at best.
Yeah, but she doesn't. I'd be pissed at him too. Find out he's my mate and he's me in that thing and help me. I'd be pissed too. Sorry, but it's true.
Yes. Moving on. So they decide that they are going into, jumping ahead a little bit. They decide that they are going to the Court of Nightmares again. This will be the time that Feyre gets to be in the Court of Nightmares, not as Reese's Horror, but as High Lady. What do we think of their return visit?
I mean, it was mostly about more than about Feyre, I thought.
Yeah.
So the whole they just had this quick check-in and he's like, you'll know what to do, Feyre, and she's like, okay. And then it was mostly just a bit more.
Pretty much the whole meeting, the betrayal and everything.
Although I would think after 500 years or whatever, her trauma wouldn't be quite so intense.
Yeah, we both said that in our episode. We were like, not necessarily that the trauma would be, I agree with what you said, more lessened than it being fresh, but the fact that she has to deal with them all the time, that every time has to trigger her so much, which I guess shows that she's not actually dealing with her shit when she says she is.
Yeah.
So I think leading down that rabbit hole of eventually getting to the core of that issue.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the whole heiress.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's just get over it. That's you never say that's someone who has trauma, but
yeah.
But you have to heal your trauma so that it can not be a total wreck every time you get confronted with something even remotely related to it.
But I don't think she's had that opportunity to get a chance to fully heal because she's constantly having to be around them. I mean,
were you guys expecting Eris to be the one to show up?
No, but I didn't much think think about it.
Fair.
I mean, I don't know. I kind of wondered because before that, they kept bringing him in. It's like, why is he there? Why is he? And then it was like, oh, well, now we get it because he wants to kill his dad. He wants to be in charge, which I don't even know if that's going to be better or not. I mean, good Lord, they're both bad. But and I wanted to touch on Nesta and
Amryn.
Oh my God, that cracked me up. I love that. That whole thing with them meeting.
Oh, I knew they were gonna like each other. Yep, 100%.
Oh, when you blow, just make sure you make it count.
You make it known across worlds.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
good line.
Yeah, when you erupt. I guess I completely passed over that in my jump forward. But what did you guys think of Amryn offering train Nesta in building up shields and being able to sense magical objects?
I mean, somebody needed to do that. I mean, that's kind of what I was saying before. Is like, don't leave Nesta and Elaine to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, teach them how to be whatever fae they are.
Mm-hmm.
Figure out what they are, right? Or like, see what they can do, see what's possible, see I don't know. So that somebody would do that makes sense. But like, Amryn's always been like this weird nerd in the family, right? Like, so even though Nesta wasn't really a nerd, she was sort of the quiet, brainy one. So it kind of makes sense that Amryn was that was it.
They both also seem to have similar tempers.
Yeah, they're a lot alike.
Yeah, they are. I think it was also, first of all, Amryn was the one that actually would deal with Nesta for a long period of time. And then I think it was also actually three things. Number two, Amryn was the one that wasn't afraid of her power versus even Rhys was afraid of Nesta's powers because he didn't know to the extent, but he knew it was bad. And then three, kind of going off Jenny's point though, I think it made me start to be on the I am starting to understand Nesta as a character path, even though I fully didn't really like her for the first two books. And then when I started to get her motivation because maybe it was because I wasn't understanding what her motivations were for being bitchy, that I didn't why are you doing this unnecessarily? Give me a reason, give me some rooted trauma. And it's like, she wants a purpose, feels like she needs one, because it seems like she never was, I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to give her too much of the benefit of the doubt, but
yeah,
I don't think so. Yeah. Hey, I mean,
she hasn't earned anything.
I think Amryn, one teacher showed us that there's something about her that is different, which we already know. But I mean, Amryn's the one that was like, I think Amryn saw what potential or whatever it is she had in her. And I think their temperament, she said, Liesl, are so close together that made sense. But I also think that if Amryn would have got pissed off enough at her, she probably would have vaporized her or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
What were you saying, Jenny?
What was I saying? Oh yeah, even Nesta started to redeem herself through the book once we kind of figured out what her cauldron story thing was. Like, kind of gave her a purpose, but like, and still, she was so just like remorseless about everything. Like, she was a total, just so useless as a human sister, right? And like, even though she sort of had these sort of like capabilities or whatever, like how she could see through the glamours and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, she still is not very sympathetic to me, even at the end of this book. I still don't like her very much.
I don't know why you're giving me side eye. I didn't say that we all should collectively
No. I just, to be honest, even with a book with her in it, the next, whatever that one is. No, I'm just saying I don't like her then either. And that's supposed to be her.
She's not a likable character.
No, he's not. And I don't
know. Maybe that's not fair. Like, maybe we're projecting like everybody has to be sweet and kind and everything. And that's not true. Some people just are a little bit more reserved and that's okay. But like, also, like, she never, I don't know if she never, maybe she just wasn't very forthcoming. Like, I want to do this. I can do this. I can help. I'm a helper. I'm part of this community. I'm part of this family. Like, she's just so aloof from everything. And I still don't understand why Feyre loves her so much.
I don't either one of them. I mean, they're both awful to her and they still are. I mean,
Elaine's just kind of wishy-washy.
I mean, ask anybody with those unconditional love conventions with family. That's what that is. That no matter what they do, there's this level of, well, they're still family, so I still love them. That happens all the time.
You're getting that from me. She doesn't understand that with my family. I mean, I may not like them and the things that they do, but they're still my family and I love. She doesn't get that. But I also have a limit with mine. And I can tell you, my sisters treated me like Nesta did. I wouldn't talk to me. I wouldn't. I mean, and if I might help them later if they needed it, but I wouldn't sit there and talk. And I wouldn't constantly be like, oh, you know, I love you, I want to help you. Be like, you just go do whatever you want. I'm gonna be over here doing my.
I guess I can see like the unconditional family type thing though, just because she is the younger sister, the youngest sister. And I think going back to like book, she, you know, when she was taking care of her sisters, of course, like it wasn't great that she had to take care of them, but she did. And I think so there's that level of internalized protection in that way where she's just like, well, honestly, it may be even that she's like blaming herself still of like, it's my fault that they got turned into fae. It's my fault that their lives in the human realm got upended. So therefore I gotta make sure that they're as comfortable as possible. Even if they're still treating me like shit, I at least gotta prepare them for the world of the fae. Which,
whether indirectly or directly.
Right. And of course they're not accepting that. You know, clearly they really don't want much to do with her, which is very sad. And I feel for her. It's just, but I can also see how she can do it. And especially if that's something that she's been doing her entire life.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's ingrained in her to do that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's good when characters aren't all good and all evil or whatever, but
they're not exactly what our decisions would be in real life.
Yeah.
It's like, that's what makes them different than us.
yeah, that's true.
Getting back on track, we were at the meeting and that was a whole bundle of, you know, more feeling betrayed and everything. And so then they get back to the townhouse. And what did you guys think of Moore and Reese's argument? And finally bringing up the dreaded name, Amarantha.
I can't remember.
It was a long time coming. I mean, I get why she felt the way she did with Eris. I get it. I understand. She was upset. But I mean, since Reese has been back, none of them really have had a chance to talk to him and express, you know, how they felt those 50 years while he was gone. And I think a lot of that just it all kind of blew up out of her at once.
Yeah. I think there were like a couple major points. I think there was that. It was this level of Cassian brought it up, Moore brought it up, Azrael probably brought it up to him at some point, but not that we saw. Of this level of Reese giving as everything and not letting anybody else in the inner circle do it and his like self-sacrifice nonsense. And then it's also the fact of Moore's trauma of not only the two males being together again, like that triggered her, them kind of working together again because it just reminded her of before. And I think the whole, going back to Liesl's question about like bringing up Amarantha, it was the idea of Moore hitting Reese where he would know and understand it because he wasn't getting it from her perspective of why them working together was so horrible to her versus, to be fair though, I will say, and I think Liesl would agree with, she was being very extreme there because I'm not saying that Kira and Eris are good people in any sense, but Amarantha was just 10 times worse than that. And again, not comparing who had it worse, but there's a level of, okay, you just went above and beyond that station where that bar was set.
Yeah, I think, she was a bit extreme with that and exaggerated a lot of it. I understand where her feelings came from, but at the same time, it's just like, okay, I get it. In the moment, you're feeling very betrayed. You're hurt by the fact that Eris and Kira are working together again and that Azrael didn't tell you, even though Azrael was supposed to be the one on your side. And yeah, just like, I get it. Emotions are high. And unfortunately, those often come to the breaking point, even though those are the exact moments that you should step away and think about it a bit.
It makes so much sense. No, you just triggered like a thought in me, Liesl. It makes so much more sense, that scene, knowing what we know at the end. Like the whole Azrael thing makes sense about how like she kind of wants him in her pocket, but at the same time, we'll get to that. She has thought. The idea of Azrael being in her pocket, but never really letting him leave and kind of keeping him to herself. And then the idea of Valaris being her own because of like how she is and identifies and everything like that. It just makes so much more sense. But in the moment, we didn't really know why there was too much of a big blow. We kind of get the base surface, not the whole thing.
Yeah, so that was kind of intense. And then moving on just a little bit, we get to Amren talking about, well, they accidentally bring up the Ouroboros mirror in front of her. And then Amren is then convinced by Reese to talk about her experience in the prison and how she got out and what she was. What did you guys think about that? About what Amren was before she was Amren?
I still don't quite get it, if I'm being honest.
What part don't you get? Just the whole thing?
I mean, like, they kind of talk about it like she's like this sort of being from another dimension and kind of got made into a, not mortal, but like
immortal.
A flesh representation of something. And yeah, I just don't.
Tabby, do you want to try summarizing it?
So basically the cliff notes is she comes from another world that one rift opened up 15,000 years years ago and a bunch, whether or not it was multiple worlds or just that one world. I'm pretty sure it's multiple because like the bone carver and Amryn did not come from the same place.
Okay.
Like you can just tell, or like implied. And so there's a level of this rip opened up in the world and a bunch of different worlds also melded in. It's almost like big boom effect of there was like all these worlds ripped at one moment and everything got intermingled. And she basically she's a death angel. That's what in the, I don't want to say wiki, but SJM herself has described Amryn is a death angel. She is the father or whoever she was talking about is their god of sorts. And so she was grown up as a death soul, not want, feel any desire, nothing. And so she's a literal fiery death angel, but something was a little bit different about her. And so she kind of wanted things. And so she was made a little bit differently. And so then she wanted to go in the rift. And then it seems like she's the only one of her kind.
She was and ventured too close to the edge.
And basically in her end monologue, she was saying that maybe her dad pushed her to go, or maybe her dad opened the rift for her. I don't know. That's ambiguous. But then, especially when she talks about getting out of the prison, her essence, her soul, her grace got smushed into a fae body so that the prison would not recognize her as what she was before, because whatever she was before was what she comes out as at the end. And so the prison would know that she was wet and gone. So she either possessed some poor person in their fae body, or it was just a body with no soul. That one's kind of ambiguous. We don't really know if she actually possessed somebody, or it was just some poor.
Well, another thing is like, if she went through this rift, like why is she in prison before like 15,000 years ago? Like what existed 15,000 years ago?
So Cassian does.
I mean, Cassian puts people in the prison too, but like 15,000 years ago, like
Cassian monologued when it was in the last book about how there was dangerous creatures running around 15,000 years ago and people put them away. So that's kind of TBD. Like I can't say.
We don't know who put her away.
Yeah, no one knows who put her away, but also there's a level of you will figure that out. Level of not who put her away, but why these creatures are going in there for 15,000 years. So it's like that's set up as well. So yeah, it's purposely left ambiguous, but also yeah. Anyway, that was my quick Cliff Notes.
Oh yeah. So basically what did you think about her revealing that and the fact that she was hesitant to share that of, like the wind has ears or things can get back and I don't want people listening. Like she seems scared of talking about it.
Yep. I don't know what I think about it.
Well, hopefully you understand that a little bit better. Yeah. What about you, Mary?
I mean, I thought she was something different, obviously. It was kind of curious to listen to her story and figure out what she is, where she came from, who she is. It always kind of bothered me that she just mysteriously got this fae body. Where did it come from? She's in a prison that doesn't have people, supposedly, right? So how did she get this person? Where did this person come from? That's what I want to know.
It reminds she either made that body or possessed some person. Yeah, and I think she possessed somebody.
Yeah, maybe that's what she didn't want to reveal about herself, is where that person came from or who that person was. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe she possessed something worse, or maybe that person was a prisoner in there. But I like it. I mean, I wanted to know what she was. Just kind of freaks me out that she always drank blood.
But she doesn't anymore.
Well, but I mean, she did then. It was like, why? Is she like the only thing I could think of was a vampire. And I mean, I know there are other creatures, obviously.
I mean, thinking back to when I used to think that she ate souls.
Dementors and Harry Potter.
Well, the biblical reference of the goats, though, kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lamb. Which I totally did not pick up on, but that kind of makes sense.
Right.
Okay, so after all of that, they decide to Reese and Feyre chat, and then they decide to go to the bone carver and see if there's any way that he can help out with the war. So what do you think of that interaction with the bone carver and what the bone carver requests of them?
It seemed like it was less of a scary visit than the first one. Now he's just more like an oracle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like the surreal.
Yeah.
With familiar face that it's like, okay, we get your shtick now. Yeah. Like, can you tell us like what we want to know?
Yeah. But I want to know what form he showed Cassie. They don't say, and it kind of bugs me. It's like, what the heck is it? I kind of have a theory of that, but his mom. I wonder if that's who he sees.
I feel like he would have been more triggered if it was his mom.
Isn't that what I said? I feel like I said that.
You might have said that.
I thought he saw somebody scary. Oh no, Cassian goes to second.
Yeah, they don't say what everybody else sees. Just what she sees.
And then Reese the one time sees Jurian the first time.
Yeah. But I like the thinking out of the box, going to him.
Well, what did you think about the whole Ouroboros plot, though? Because it was something that happened throughout the whole thing of, like, we talked about this throughout our podcast so much of, you know, it's not yet until, it was almost like the Ouroboros was a latch-ditch result. It was like, no, not yet. We're not that desperate, blah, blah. And then they keep bringing it up, and then the idea of facing your worst fears, I feel like that's what they thought it was, and then what it turned out to be. But what did you think of that?
What? The Ouroboros and the fact that Bone Cover wants it.
Just the idea of that plot, not actually.
I thought it was something that he could see where he came from. That's what I thought, because it said something about the beginning and the end, or something. But I thought it was something that he could look at and see where he, you know, like I said, where he came from or something.
It's the mirror of beginnings and endings.
Yeah. So I just wondered if that's why he wanted it. Was something he could look at and see his home.
I always thought it was a test, because especially once I found out everybody look at the only way you get it is to look at it, and everybody who's looked at it goes mad. Like, I thought it was just some sort of test. Like, he didn't actually want the mirror. He just wanted the process of it.
Well, you outsmarted us all, because we like.
Yeah, I did that.
I did guess that one.
And he's like, yeah, I just wanted to see if you were worthy.
I mean, I didn't know exactly what the test was, but I thought that he didn't actually care about the mirror. He just wanted to see if she could get it.
She did not appreciate that later on, but...
Dude, when you make bargains with super magical creatures, you're going to get fucked one way or the other.
Yeah, I mean, you have to know. Yeah.
But speaking of bargains with magical creatures, just like kind of like jump in as an overall kind of... What did you guys think of the bargain that she ended up striking with Bryaxis?
I thought it was really cute.
Thank you. I think Bryaxis is adorable.
Me too.
So he scared the living shit out of Cassian. Like, he's cute.
Well, especially was like, no, this is my...
It's like, I just want a window and some company.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. I thought he was cute too. I mean, I was like, I don't know, I was trying to get a picture in my head of what exactly he would look like. And he always just kind of reminded me of a more vicious three-headed dog.
Oh, Fluffy.
Yeah, kind of like Fluffy from Harry Potter. But just more... Ugh.
Did he even have a corporal body?
He didn't. Not that we saw.
It's like just a shadow.
Miss kind of that.
I mean, originally, I'll admit, like, originally, I thought Bryaxis was similar to the Bone Carver, and it showed you your worst, like, fear. Like, so it showed everyone a different thing was my original thing. I have no idea what he looked like physically. Once he was on the battlefield, he had a physical body. But yeah, down there, like, we don't see anything. But I just thought it was, like, super cute how he was just super nice and super personable, and it's like, hello, hi, lady, and would you like me to kill them for you? Close your eyes.
Right.
And then you just hear screaming, and it's like, okay, yeah, okay.
I'm glad you were on my side.
Yeah, and the wanting a window thing was really... I thought he was like one of those kids that everyone... God, what I'm picturing is that one kid that's like super fucking tall for no reason. And everybody's really scared of Lenny of Mice and Men. In a way of... He's like a big monster and everybody's scared of him, but he has thoughts and actual...
Yeah.
Because then even we brought up in our last episode when we were talking about the finale and how Bryaxis, the first thing he did was protect the most vulnerable. He protected the humans on the battle. And it's like, oh.
I mean, part of that, we figured that it would be because most of the Hybern people would go towards the weakest. He would have the most to kill. But we also think it's because he's like, okay, I'll just defend you guys. Because that's what the High Lady would want.
Right.
So, Mary, did you say what your thoughts were?
I think, well, yeah. I mean, but, you know, like kind of reminded me of a big fluffy kind of Harry Potter. But I also like, too, that, you know, he didn't really ask for anything like outrageous to make you think he was evil. You know what I mean? He kind of just reminded me of like a big dog wanting to make people happy. Finally happy to talk to him.
Right, because his thing he wanted was company.
Yeah, because nobody would talk to him because they were probably all scared to death of him. Yeah, I would be. I don't know what it was, but
it's kind of like, so like two things. Pharaoh went to bargain with him and she was kind of scared and she's like, oh, if you want to be released and I'm releasing all these monsters into the world. She was kind of scared about that, and then when he's like, oh no, I just want to see the stars, and she's like, oh no, you're like gonna let you out. He's like, no, window's fine. And she's like, oh, problem, we'll make that happen. That's so easy, we can do that.
Although Pharaoh was totally skeptical, she's like, really? That's all you want?
Right.
Aaron's just like, shut up.
Right. But then also like feels like he's like kind of nice to her because she's kind of a pure heart, right? She right, and like anybody else who comes with ulterior motives and wants to seek power instead of peace, like he's probably not that nice to them.
Yeah, because there were two bargains. There was the one when she was desperate and at the bottom running away from the soldiers, and and then the other one was the actual bargain to get out and what you want.
And help with the war. Yeah.
And I think we also talked about how even going off of what Jenny said about it being so minimal of a cost was also inked in her skin that way as well, of it not being like this big tattoo like the other ones where it was just a band around her arm. So it was not very big and showy as well.
He's just casually on the side, the guard dog to call when you need help, but otherwise just a sweetheart.
Just a double band on the freaking arm.
Yeah.
But since we're in the library talking about Bryaxis, I am curious, like, just in general, what did you guys think of the whole idea of, like, the library under the House of Wind and how it's a safe haven for the priestesses? What did you guys think about that?
I mean, I think it just goes to show Reese is not a monster.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I figured there would be a something, library somewhere, but I didn't really give much thought to priestesses until they mentioned it. When I was thinking of priestess through the book, I was thinking of like she who must not be named person. I didn't think that there were actually
real ones
that, and then once he explained what happened to them, it was like, well, yeah, like you said, it makes him not a mean person because he was actually taking these poor women in that had been hurt so bad. It was just, we forgot to talk about Andy's hand.
We did, but there's so much that we missed and talked about.
That was the one was making her crush her hands. I was,
It was funny juxtaposition though when she saw Clotho's hands and she went,
well, yeah, that.
I am thee.
Like, oh,
I don't think poor lady deserved what she got, but Auntie deserved it.
Yeah, no, I'm just sorry. I just needed to say that.
Yeah,
Clotho's a badass, honestly.
Clotho,
I love her.
She is the goat. She is that bitch.
Yeah, I feel bad what happened to her, but I guess it just didn't register that there would be those, someone that had been so traumatized underneath their house like that.
In Reese's personal library.
Yeah, that, he would, I don't know.
That he kicked out the original scholars.
Yeah,
they were pissed.
Yeah.
It kind of going off of what Jenny said though about and you about it being this is a testament to Reese and also to Moore. I think it did two things. I think it was setting up that they just take in women who have been very, because then that brought up Briar later. That was kind of a foreshadowing there. And then I think it was also another foreshadow of Reese's demise that I didn't see the first time. It's like Reese got better and like we don't need to know any more about how good this guy is. We got it all last book. It's almost Sarah was like shoving it in the face of just look how good he is, and you know what? Guess what? I'm gonna fucking kill him. I didn't know it when I read it first time, but there was that level of okay, I'm just gonna keep hammering it home that Reese is so good, and their relationship, and even them interacting in the library scene.
I mean, when I pictured him going somewhere to like relax and get away, it wasn't a library. I don't know what I was thinking, but I just didn't. It would be a library. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not gonna deny that. I kind of pictured more of like a smoking lounge kind of thing with a guy smoking the cigars, sitting around with a glass of whatever brandy. You know what I'm talking about? They showed him on the older TV show.
Go Bridgerton level?
Yeah, kind of like the men
like Sherlock, like the place where Sherlock's brother Mycroft hangs out, smoking club or gentleman's club.
That's what I pictured. I didn't picture.
I pictured more like the Harry Potter library, like super dark, forbidden sections with like old lore and
yeah. And then in that sense, the restricted section is down with Bryaxis.
Yeah, right. Like I was doing something dark and because like they were looking for like old secrets of like how to get the cauldron and how to figure out what the cauldron is, like super dark old magic, and that's going to be in like old books that nobody even knows what's in the books, right? Because if everybody knew what's in the books, and the librarian people, the sisters could just like, oh, here you go.
Right. Well, and even at that point though, like their research ended up just being about the Ouroboros, about the cauldron being temporary, or sorry, the cauldron being temporary, the wall being temporary, and then
now moving on.
I do want to say just one tiny thing. Why in the hell is it when they destroy things, they always have to destroy the book? In every book, you have a story like that, and you always have a big war. Why in the hell do they go to the library and always destroy the book? That just quite frankly pisses me off.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, come on, destroy the people. Leave the damn books alone. I mean, shit.
God.
No, I'm sorry. That's just a pet peeve. That annoys me every time.
Yeah, so going on then to the violent attacks and whatnot. Yes. Now we're getting into the more like violent stuff and like the actual event, like the big events. So the big main one we wanted to talk about was the Raven attack. So not only the Ravens attacking, so Hybern's people coming for Nesta. Now it's shifted. At first they were trying to go after Feyre last book because of her power and, the bargain with Hamlin and whatnot. But now it's all about Nesta. It's all her and the subsequent, like, what that scene entailed. Did the starting of the action start to get you out of the intermission spot? Like, was it good?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, well, I was waiting for it. You know what's coming. I mean, Hydman's just sitting over there. But, I think, are we going to talk about Elaine? I mean, there you got more representatives coming from Hydman that are, you got these, what you call them. They're supposed to be people, but I don't think they're really people, if you ask me. But
the Raven.
Yeah, I mean, you got more of these creatures coming at him. But then you also figure out, oh, well, he's really not after Favor. He's after Nesta. And it's like, okay, well, Nesta really must have... I mean, you knew she took something, but you just don't know what. So what the hell is it enough to make him come her?
She pointed at him.
Yeah, it's like, what power did she get from that thing? Yeah, to make him...
I think they thought that Nesta took some power, kind of like Feyre did with the High Lords, but like it didn't mean anything. Versus we find out that she took a chunk out of the cauldron to where it did not function correctly, which was way different than what I think originally everyone was thinking.
Yeah, agree.
But yeah, your thoughts on the Ravens attack?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's just these, like, bodies that show up.
At least they weren't sleeping together.
I guess maybe to prompt your thinking, like, I guess the reason they're also coming also leads into the triggering the Elaine, us figuring out that she's been calling this shit the whole time, and that she was actually warning them this whole time, and that, it turns out that she's a seer. How did that kind of revelation, did you like that?
I mean, I like that Nesta and Elaine got different things out of the cauldron. Like, we knew when they came out of the cauldron that something had happened, both of them. But we didn't know what. Although, now that I'm thinking about it, like, so Nesta took something from cauldron because she's like, fuck you. But like, Elaine, is that just like, she just in her process of getting made, that was like her power, and like, she didn't like steal anything from the cauldron, that just like was her version, like her fayness.
We're kind of along the track that since Nesta stole something, that Elaine was given something.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so it said at the end, and even like, Liesl kept bringing up, is that Nesta took from the cauldron, but the cauldron thought Elaine was so wonderful when she went in that she thought that she was and which then at the end, when the cauldron was trying to nab Nesta or whatever the hell it was trying to do, it saw that Elaine was protecting her and then just gave up. The cauldron just doted on her so much that it gifted her gifted her foresight, which is different than the, quote unquote, like just raw power that she has, which is so similar to the cauldron blast, which is crazy, especially at the end. But
the raw power versus the seer power, which is apparently very rare.
What did you think about her seer gifts and that kind of coming out?
I mean, I guess kind of for her, that kind of power made more sense for her. It kind of fit her personality better because she's really not, at least in my opinion, she's not really a fighter, I don't think. You know what I mean? I can't picture her, getting a sword and running around to hack people. I don't, I think it fit more with her personality. Yeah. Giving her something that, more or less matched.
She's like an aid.
Yeah, but I don't know if you can say the cauldron gave it to her, but
own thoughts.
I don't.
You keep redacting yourself. Like,
I don't think so. I think it did, but I think it did something else to her.
I will say, I kind of agree with Jenny about I kind of liked how their powers were different.
Well, yeah, it makes sense.
I mean, they could have had the same power, but
boring. Give everybody the same thing when they got it on a lane.
I had hope for her for a split second of like, she finally found her purpose and that she wasn't crazy and that she wasn't hearing voices and that she actually, had a purpose in this story. And then she went and pissed it away on a guy. And then I was like, mad. And I was like, oh.
She's still such a human dude.
Yeah, that's like a whole thing too. I'm like, what the? Like, this guy's such a bigot and he's so mean to her. Like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't give a shit about him.
That's what I was thinking. It's like, why is she so stuck on the same dude?
Because he's human and she wants to be human again.
Maybe, but still.
I mean,
I very much do not have a high regard for Elaine. I don't. Yeah. She just pisses me off.
I know. I won't say she's useless, but she's like so.
Like when in the war camps and stuff, she's always hiding in her tent and not helping with anything.
I think the funniest thing in our recordings for this season that we found that just fucking pissed us off the most about Elaine was especially during like the end when she got captured and brought back and whatever, and Azriel's sitting there almost like freaking falling on the ground, and she's just like, "Hi guys," and then or like kisses him on the cheek, doesn't even thank him, and then just like, "Okay, I'm gonna go this way." Her poor rescuer is just sitting there like, "Oh, dude,
he's fallen in the mud, his wings are bleeding," and she kisses him on the cheek and it's like, "Hey, okay, see ya."
You gotta give him more than first base.
She kind of reminds me
of the thing she didn't.
Airhead friend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's like worse than my Airhead friend.
I'm gonna go over here and be like, thank you. and then she just goes away.
She's like Chrissy from Three's Company.
Yes, exactly. She's like a hitsy, I don't know.
I agree. I think we all agree with that.
Yeah, and like you guys said, she really, right now, does not really serve much of a purpose.
Which makes me think that she's not actually that dumb. Like, she is either that dumb, or she is like the most smartest person in this fucking world.
I can't freaking say it because you won't like
No. No, I won't.
We've had discussions about Wayne.
Yeah.
We talk about her a lot as well. We have like a lot of theories about her, but it's like we honestly have no idea.
Again, to be fair, we're not saying that she does something so heinous in the next two books that it's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So don't think that like there's something you're missing. Honestly, you know as much as we do.
Yeah.
In terms
We
of
just don't like her. I mean, I think it comes from reading the book multiple times. We see a lot of things that we don't agree with, but even then you're still seeing those things, so.
I know, she's just she has like a plot purpose, like does things, but mostly she's like a freaking puppet. Like she has like no like no motivation of her own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
she's
true.
just a puppet.
That's true.
Well, I mean, she kind of in a way reminds me too of, I don't know if you guys have watched Bridgerton. Kind of reminds me of Daphne at the beginning.
Oh, don't do that to Daphne.
When she was like, oh, this is my job, is to get married and have babies and just look pretty all the time. That's a woman's, that kind of also what she reminded me of.
I guess so. I guess I could see that. That was her original plan, to marry a son's lord.
To marry
the Lord's son. Even if she'd had like some personality around of like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. Right? Like if she'd had like, if she was prissy and like, even if it wasn't going up, she could be like comic relief almost.
She's not
like,
even that.
Like she gets to be this puppet, but she has no personality whatsoever. No personality.
Yeah.
It's like zero negative personality.
It's not even
personality.
Takes other people's personality away.
She siphons it and just puts it out in ether.
That's true. So moving on from that, we could drone on for Elaine for hours.
We shouldn't, because she's so like
right. Why do we bring all this attention?
That means there's so much to me that's intuitively telling me there's so much more to her than just that. Because SJM doesn't make 2D, so there's something like there's another face that we're not seeing that I'm like, But then the next big thing, I guess, in the story that happens that we wanted to talk about was the summer court attack. Because right after this, the summer court gets attacked, and it's kind of our first glimpse of the battlefield, even though this wasn't really a battlefield scene. This was very much a city under siege.
Yeah, a siege.
Yeah. City under siege. Which you got at the end of the last book.
Yes.
Right.
So what did you guys think of this scene? Like that whole summer court fiasco?
I mean, you had to know they were going to attack somewhere. Someone. It'd been too quiet for too long.
Just the poor summer court getting it again.
And but I mean, somebody was going to get it, and he obviously had a reason to attack them they were closest to...
They're the closest one to Highness.
Sure.
So, I mean, it would make sense to get to them. Plus, they're already weaker because they'd already went through all kinds of stuff before. And and then it also, them coming to help him, kind of showed him that Reese and them weren't what they thought he was going to be. That he actually was a friend. Even, because that whole fiasco before, I mean, I thought they could have handled differently earlier instead of trying to steal that book. Maybe if they would have explained things to him, but I mean, that's a hard call, like Reese said, doing that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, it kind of opened up an alliance kind of with them. Don't want to, you do have other people coming to help you.
The only one.
Yeah, they were the only ones that did. Here everybody thinks Reese is such this great bastard, but he's the only one really out there.
Specifically, I enjoyed the fact that Tarquin didn't even know they were coming, because Varian contacted Amran, and that's how they got help. So I kind of appreciate that Tarquin was surprised by Reese's appearance.
Yeah, it did set up that summer court alliance. It set up before the High Lords meeting, because it honestly probably pushed Tarquin to go.
Yeah,
it helped along.
It just seems to me like Tarquin's just a nice guy.
Yeah,
nice guy or a nice
a nice guy.
Got it.
He just needs an excuse to forgive.
Yeah. I mean, if we do remember from the second book, his because he's such a young High Lord, all of the counselors and stuff were always watching over him. So honestly, Blood Rubies might have been them pushing him to follow tradition.
Could have, yeah, sure. So I didn't really know where to put this, but also again, just kind of umbrella term. What did you think of Nesta and Cassia? Because over the book, it happens a lot where it's very much back and forth between them. That they're very much two type A's trying to make things work, and they butt heads a lot. But then they have a lot of neat, cute moments of where Nesta's actually showing a bit of a soft side, especially in these war camp scenes. Especially after the battle when he's hurt, but nobody else can tell, and she can tell, and immediately, no questions asked. She's not pitching a bitch fit or anything. anything. She just helps him. What did you overall think of their relationship over the book?
You mean as far as them?
What did you think of them?
I thought they were going to end up together. I really did, because the way, they argued way too much. You know what I mean? It's like, and then why on earth would they even be talking about it if something wasn't going to happen? Kind of like, I think you can kind of foresee it coming, them two. Don't know when, but it's coming.
So reading that little short extra thing, that scene with Cassian and Nesta.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if I hadn't read that, I don't know if I would have picked up on. Maybe I would have. I don't know. But I already knew that there was like sexual tension between them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So this is just like more of that. But I did like that. Like, everybody else is like, ooh, Nesta's scary, and Cassian's like,
ooh, interesting.
And he also just doesn't let him or push him around, really.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's just like being himself with her.
And she's like, this is new.
And again, I'm not a Nesta personality, but I think the reason I'm more of a Cassian stan we both love both the Bat Boys, but there's a level of I like Cassian more than Azrael, because I have, in my personal life, there's been so many guys that are afraid of me. Like, not in like this I'm a bitch way. I don't know what it is. Liesl knows exactly what I'm talking about. I cannot explain it to you, because probably neither of you see me as scary, but like there's a level of just men find me scary. And so the idea of just what Jenny said, of a guy not being intimidated by that, not being scared, is very romantic to me in a weird way. Like,
he just needs to find herself a Cassian, or Cassian needs to find her.
Yeah, please do. And bite my neck while you're at it. Bring up the thing again.
Bring up a wall somewhere.
Yeah, so anyway, at least I'll take
Well, so the next big thing after Adriata is the High Lord mating, which that took up a huge part of planning stuff, even though it only technically in book counted as 2 days. But I guess overall, what did you think of the High Lord mating and all the drama that came with it?
That was pretty civil.
Yeah.
Could have gone worse.
Yeah, only on the end of the first day.
Like, everybody showed up. The chances of that like happening in the real world,
slim.
Right? There's always people boycotting and, I didn't get concessions before I showed up, so I'm not showing up. Tab, you're a poli-sci person, right?
Oh yeah, I agree. No, the fact that they did come, and even they came a little bit late, they were still there.
Yeah,
and agree. Yeah.
Yeah. I like getting to meet the other High Lords, the one that you don't get to see, or you don't know about. They exist, but this is the first time we're meeting them.
Yeah.
Right. Like, officially. Because we saw them a little bit in the first book when it's like, oh yeah, those must be the High Lord, but we didn't get any interaction.
Yeah. You don't know. Obviously everybody, they have their own personalities and stuff, and it was just interesting finally get to meet them and see what they look like, what they are, who they are. You know what I mean? I enjoyed that part. And then them figuring out
who's your favorite of the other High Lords. If you took Tamlin and Rhys out of the equation,
Tamlin wouldn't be even in the equation.
Yeah, that's true. I'm sorry.
Sorry for the Tamlin lovers who are listening.
I'm gonna butcher his name, but
Helion?
Yeah, I liked him. He was my favorite.
He's power by. You gotta love him.
Chaotic power by.
I just like him. I didn't like him when we first met him, then later.
Oh, you mean later on that night? Okay, yeah.
Showed his true self. That's the part.
When he was shocked that Rhys was not hiding behind a mask. Who would you say is your favorite?
Let's see. What else is there?
So there's Helion of Day, and then Callius of Winter, Beeson of Dawn, who is the healer, and Baron of Autumn.
Oh, Baron can go.
Yeah, I think like Helion had the most plot stuff. Like, the others were just sort of cast, just part of the panoply. But
yeah, but sorry, who did you say you liked the best?
Helion.
Honestly, you know what? I'm gonna throw in my hat. I liked Callius on this reread.
He had a nice humor.
He was so funny, and I also just the fact that he's such like a yes, dear. Like
he met Vivian really well.
Yeah. Maybe I just like them as a pair as well, like as a cohesive pair more.
I really like Helion, but yeah, when you pair Callius with Vivian, that is a power couple that I enjoy watching. Although, not to completely ignore Thiessen, he is wonderful, and he's gay, so.
It was nice to see the other couples. It was nice to see other High Lords doing High Lord things, and not just Tamlin was kind of the exception to terrible rule. So at least we got to see everybody else have some sort sort of authority is like, okay, at least some of these people are competent.
Not including Baron.
No.
Right.
That's a dick. And I felt so bad for the Lady of Autumn, seeing her again there.
You know, I don't. I do and I don't. Because she, I mean...
Oh, you're saying you don't like the Lady of Autumn?
No, I like her. It's just, I don't... She's kind of in the spot. She... How do you want to say it? She had a chance to get away from that guy and she didn't do it. So her lot... you know what I mean? It's kind of like, yeah, I feel bad for her. But then in some ways I don't feel bad for her.
Yeah, I mean, like, the Autumn Court is like the Lannisters from Game of Thrones. Like, they just kind of bankrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, I think what, I'm so glad you brought up the Lannister reference. The whole Helion and her plot line is cool to me.
Yeah.
Like, the Lucian thing makes so much sense, and it kind of, that's her, I don't want to say her excuse, her reason for staying, because she wanted to make sure that her one son that she probably actually liked the most survived and was, but at this now, why is she still there? If that was her one reason for staying, why is she still there? And I guess you have to, like, I agree with you, but I'm doing a devil's advocate here of when somebody's in that abusive thing for so long, there's a level of why do I deserve to be out of this?
Yeah.
Mentality. And so if I'm thinking in her survivor brain, it's like, okay, so I've lived here long enough, you know, I just kind of have to accept it. I lost, like, there is no redemption, there's no
kind of like there's just no saving for me.
Yeah, so option,
it's not that bad. Yeah.
Option that she had, the road that she could have had with Helion is like that for men, it's gone, it's over. I can't, even though he's not married, I mean, he's fucking around, but also like he obviously still holds a torch for her. So I think that's gonna come into play more as well, especially with Lucian, because again, that's open-ended by the end of this as well.
About how Lucian's like related, but you know, with Feyre's revelation with that.
So sidebar, all these Fey are immortals. What the fuck is even the point of hereditary and lines of succession?
Yeah.
They're not fully immortal though, like they slowly age.
Oh, okay.
Like Amberyn, before she turned High Fae and the Death God, chose when they died, so they could live forever. But these Fae they just slowly, because Baron is the oldest and he's the one who looked.
They're basically long living, but not invulnerable.
Oh, that's true. They can.
Yeah. Which is
still kind of the point though. Like succession just seems so silly, really.
Yeah. So diving a little bit more specifically, the last High Lord to arrive, predictable. In a flash of lightning and thunder, suddenly we see Tamlin. So what do you guys think of Tamlin's interaction at this High Lord meeting, and just like the things that he says to Feyre and to the others, Feyre and Rhys mostly?
I mean, it's like I said, he's just a whiny alpha boy bitch. Like, he just has no awareness. There's no awareness.
That's true.
Like, he just thinks he's been hard done by.
What do you think of him, like, bringing up, like, the whole, almost like trying to humiliate her, of just like, yeah, did you notice, like, that sound she makes before she climaxes?
So dumb.
Yeah.
I like that Feyre didn't fall for it. Like, I wish Rhys had fallen for it less.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do with bullies. You're just like, you're so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Whatever, you can hurts me.
He had a calmer reaction than probably he would have. But I see that. I understand.
Yeah. He was just being an asshole. Yeah. And I wouldn't have trusted anything in front of him. Because
the information he gave and stuff. And
I wouldn't have trusted any of that. Because I mean, the guy has Hybern in his territory. You know, he made a bargain with him. Why in the hell would you trust anything he said?
Right. I guess what do you think of the fact that he said, it's like, well, do you think I would really let Hybern into my territory without keeping an eye on them?
He has no clue what he's dealing. He has no clue. So, and I mean, I think the Spring Court would have probably fallen apart whether Feyre was with him or not. Because he's not a leader.
He's a warrior.
He's really not. And he's, you know, his people, I mean, maybe it would have taken a little longer if they would have figured that out. So she already started, there were seeds of doubt already there. She just helped him along a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. What do you think information that Tamlin ended up sharing? Of like, these are all where Hybern's armies are.
Verify it. You just can't trust him.
Which is what Helion did while also boning more somehow.
Yeah, that whole thing was
Yeah, I did mention that. It's like, yeah. So last night while I was in Moore, it's like, oh yeah, last night I looked over these papers.
You were doing paperwork? Well,
that'd be like
the whole episode.
It must have been really bad for like to do paperwork.
Yeah.
I think the funniest part about that was the fact that afterwards Helion was ravished you last night, and she was like,
It's like, you're not really what I'm after.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, unless that's why he had time for paperwork, because he's like a 2-pump chump. He thought it was great.
Yeah.
Oh, so true.
Really, it ended really quickly, and she's like,
It's like, oh god.
She's like, yeah, great.
That's why he left early, was because it finished early.
Yeah.
Makes so much sense.
But then the next thing that happens is there's the shudder and basically the earthquake, and then they find out that the wall has come down. Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
And then they have to deal with the aftermath of the wall being down.
Yeah, which is basically just like, oh shit, it's all happening now. We don't have any time.
Yeah, figure out what to do now and who's being allied with who, that kind of thing.
Which is so annoying on a reread because it's just the Night Court has told, we have been preparing for this since last book. You guys are fucking slow as shit. And also the lack of what new. Like, it makes sense because Reese and everybody wasn't forthcoming about it because they were trying to prevent it before it happened. But the lack of knowledge that they had about it just made them go into this with so little information. And it was waiting.
Yeah.
That's what made it more compelling, though, as well, for it to be cool like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was kind of, I mean, they had to know it was coming, you know, the wall coming down. They had to know. I mean, it already had holes in it.
That's true.
So, I mean, it was obvious, you know, it wasn't something that was going to stay. But, I mean, I know everything happened. I mean, it happened because Cauldron had built power back.
I was surprised when it happened and the fact that Nesta could feel it.
Well, yeah, since she's, you know, connected.
It's
there was
kind of like showing the beginning of her having that connection.
Yeah.
It was also so much foreshadowing as well. Not only for Elaine getting taken and their connection, but also then N. It was like, okay.
Yeah, and how many of those guys really didn't give a shit about the human? They could have cared less. If most of them would have, you know, been slaughtered, they wouldn't have cared. They'd have just moved down there. I think.
The whole new world dynamic.
Yeah.
So yeah, then again, a lot of dominoes then start to affect. So they go back to Valaris and then, but basically just one fun moment as we're going. I just, you know, it's not like this is an opinion thing or whatever. One of our favorite moments was when Devlin and them were at the war camp and they saw Nesta for the first time and they were like, what the fuck is that?
Oh, yeah.
He's like, that a witch? And then she's like, yes.
Or I like that, like, she didn't even, like, they didn't even bring it up that she was a witch. It's like that. She's like, a witch.
And they were like, no. Like, witch from legend is like, oh, wait, this actually has some lore behind it? Okay. I thought that was a cool moment.
Yeah. And I also wondered why he didn't send Elaine.
Right?
Because if there was something, you know, whether, well, we all know Ness took it, but whether Elaine was gifted something from the cauldron or not, she should have smelled different. And he didn't say anything about her. And I thought that was a little odd.
That's true.
I think that, though, goes to the definition of what I was saying that the witch was, is that Elaine's powers aren't, like, bursting at her from the seams. Like, they're enough for her body, versus Nesta's is just, it exudes off her with this unearthly power like Amren's does. That was my only explanation.
Yeah.
Though he is weird about everybody who's, so it's interesting that he just ignored her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then big scene before, so them going back to, because now the wall's down and now they're trying to protect the humans, them going to see Grayson and his father and trying to protect humans or give them safe haven in their prison castle, basically. And it's the subsequent what happens there. What'd you guys think of that?
I mean, to be honest, I'm kind of over that whole thing by now. You know, I mean, her with Grace, I mean, come on, let it go, dude. It's been long enough, you know he hates you. I mean,
clearly she doesn't.
She held out a little hope that...
Well, she just, at this point, she's deluded.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of knew.
I mean, it kind of just, to me, it kind of dragged on a little bit longer than it. That's my opinion. I mean, she just kept holding on. Oh, dude, you know this guy, you know, he doesn't, you know, he's not just going to go, oh, I love you. No. That's not going to happen.
No.
But yeah, I was kind of just moved.
I didn't expect him to show up at the end, though.
Yeah, that was kind of a surprise.
It was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
And for whatever it was worth.
Maybe it's because you guys are older, but there was, when we first read this, I think there was a level of, you know, it was her first person, it was a person who lost her virginity to, really that love Trump a mating bond, or like Trump everything, and all the stuff that, like,
why does she love him?
No,
That was the question.
why do people in real life bigoted or racist? Well, I have no fucking clue.
I guess maybe
Because they're like that themselves, and they don't
it'd be
know.
like one thing if he like wooed her, you know, and was really nice to her, but I didn't get the sense that he
To be
did.
fair, we don't really know. Although, I guess they did spend time together, I guess. You know.
She's such a blah, like a nobody.
I think it was the more idea that he was like a highborn kind of like princely guy, and I think it was more the idea of the relationship than actually him as a person.
Yeah.
And so it was that idea.
Well,
Yeah.
Prince.
I will say, I know you guys said you were sick of it, but like there's a level of it did actually hit me though what he said. Oh god. That would have been a slap in the face too if I really thought I was living in delusion land if I loved somebody and then they just were like
disgusted by you.
Yeah, that was
I mean, like, the hurt is real, but then, like, let it go, dude.
Oh no, yeah. The whole time when she was getting dragged from camp to camp after that, just being so depressed. No, we got tired of it too. No, for real.
We dragging on her real hard.
We gave it in the moment it's due. And then after it happened, it was just like, girl,
come on.
Have some self-respect.
This is literally a war camp of Fae males, specifically Illyrian males. Move on.
Two guys that are trying to get after you. Go, girl.
One of them literally made it too.
Jesus. But anyway, Elaine aside.
That's just great.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Jurian being the good guy out of, sorry?
Plus it, I'm like,
why are you here?
Even then.
That was a hard one because it was like, really? Are you? I don't know.
I think for us, it made so much sense that we were like, oh, okay. That actually does make sense.
I admit, I just did not see it coming. I just, wait, okay, wow, okay.
Well, here's the thing about double agents. You can't trust a double agent.
That's true. You don't know if they could be a triple agent,
right?
Or whose side they're actually on.
Right.
Triple agent. Yeah, because they could just go back to that person and play like the 2-card game of like, okay, I'm just going to tell them what. In this instance, though, it made more sense because Jurian he risked a lot going there by himself and like without any guards and shit, which we talked about was like, how the fuck did he get there? All the way from whatever. The travel that he does is weird to me, but yeah, maybe I was like, not against all three of you, but I think I was the only one who trusted it right off the bat. And I was, oh yeah, that makes sense. This is a Sarah twist. Yeah, this makes sense to me.
I mean, it's true, like what we said about him like being prisoner for 500 years and why would he stay with the side that imprisoned him? Yeah, that didn't make any sense.
It made sense. He woke up in hybrid around surrounded by enemies. What the hell did they expect him to just be like, no, go out there guns blazing? Like Mom said, he's a freaking human. There was no way he was going to get out of there alive unless like he didn't give some reason for him to survive or like play the game. So it made sense to me.
And I like him actually, once he started explaining, started talking just in general, then it was like kind of around the time that I thought like, oh yeah, he is human and he's working with these humans and telling them it's like, I mean, okay, yeah, he did that with the human queens, but I really doubt that the King of Hybern is going to pay attention to Grayson and his family.
Right? Yeah.
The next big thing that we need to bring up, in my opinion, is almost tied for first saddest death of the book. Or I guess I
saddest
can
death?
say the second saddest death. But it's almost tied.
Yeah.
For the Suriel.
Yeah.
My dear gossip girl.
Yeah.
The one to spill the hottest of tea.
Yes. The hottest of tea.
Is dead because of a fucking bitch princess, or she thinks she's a priestess. Sorry, I'm not gonna cry, obviously, but I still get heated over this because I hate Ianthe, and especially I hated her, and then she did this. Anyway, so what did you guys think of the whole interaction with Elaine finding the Suriel, Feyre visiting the Suriel, and then thus the interaction with Ianthe?
Well, I thought it was convenient that Elaine could find the Suriel, so unlike the other two times that Feyre had to hunt the Suriel, like it just took they didn't have time, or like, sort of how convenient.
She knew how to do her powers right off the bat,
without any practice.
Yeah,
like what the hell?
I mean, Feyre did have to sort of like coach her a little bit, but still, it was very convenient. And now, kind of like I said about the Bone Carver, like now the Suriel's not scary or dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now they're like friends.
Makes an appearance every book.
I mean, it's kind of cute, but also I don't know if it's believable. I mean, maybe it is, but also then the Suriel says she was kind, and so like that kind of explains it. So, and that makes sense. That's consistent. So I can live with that.
That upset me. I kind of like the Suriel from the beginning. It was like he was kind of mean, but he wasn't. And then it's like, or he, she, whatever it is. It's not sure what it is. I don't know if they ever said, but
the Fae pronouns.
They use
but it was just sad because it was like he knew that he was being tracked, yet he still went to her anyway to help him. And I think he just basically was tired, and it's just like, it's my time to go. I'm done. I've served my purpose. I'm done.
Or it was another aspect of Feyre and another monster character being like, saving you is worth dying for.
Yeah, I mean, which is too, but I mean, it just, some of those characters or some of those beings, creatures have been around like forever. And they're all freaking tired, just everything. I don't know.
Yeah, I think what was impactful about that whole sequence was like, I could probably sum it up into 3 things. Number 1 was the fact there was so much foreshadowing of what he's saying, even in the end. This character being throughout all the he gave his turkey performance, his third performance in this book series, and then all of a sudden it was so sudden. I also liked the fact that it wasn't like a slow death. It was very much they're talking and then all of a sudden he gets shot, and then having the subsequent, I mean, I know you guys didn't say it, but I was so glad Ianthe got murdered by the Weaver. It was so satisfying. I wish we could have savored it a little bit more, but also the book.
Yeah, that would have been nice to go into detail what happened to her.
So we all were just the screaming and dying.
Yeah, I would have liked Ianthe to like for her life and still.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if she put her hair up in the roof of her.
Ew.
Wasn't that what the roof made of?
No,
Hair?
it was, yeah.
I mean, a chunk of Ianthe hair there with her little crown there when she's not wearing it. You know, that was pretty badass.
Yeah.
The end when she came out crowned, it was like, ee.
It's also the surreal also seeing another character that Feyre stayed till after death for, which was also, again,
put the coat on him.
Another foreshadow of the whole stay with Rhys at the end. Don't leave him yet. Like, don't just stay and try and then you'll succeed.
Stay and all will be righted.
God. The fact that fucking prophecy meant 3 things blew my mind. Again, there's probably a bunch of good books that have that level of foreshadowing, but this was the first time that I had that level of innate, oh my god, it was 3 things.
And it was different for each book, too.
Yeah.
When Tabby and I talked about this in the main episode, we were just like talking about how the serial left and it's like, yep, I did good with that one. I foreshadowed that one a lot.
Yeah. And it also showed that not all of these creatures in this book are necessarily bad. People think they are, but they're not necessarily what you think.
And they're not the main character.
Yeah. Is this the only serial there is? There isn't another one. This guy was like the OG and that was it?
No, there are like the surreal is a race, but we've never really seen the other ones.
Because they're very rare. And even Lucian said that very early on. They are very rare.
So there could be another one.
Honestly, I don't know if that's just myth or if that was just the same.
I wondered about that. If at the when he died, it was like, well, is there another one? Did they ever really say that? Is that it?
Maybe it's kind of like the Rumpelstiltskin thing of the dark one. There always has to be a surreal, but when one dies, another one pops up. I don't know.
But it won't be our surreal that we've known. And
no,
it won't be. This one will probably be a dig if it comes up. Well, that's the way it usually works. You got one that's halfway decent, and then the next one that comes along and be in a prick.
Yeah, that's kind of accurate. So the next thing is back in the war camp, and then everyone's just having a good night. Everyone's chilling, and then all of a sudden, dark presence, and then who's gone? Elaine. Elaine disappears in the middle of the night, and everyone thinks it's the cauldron. So what do you think about Elaine getting stolen in the dead of night?
Well, they didn't pay any attention to her, so duh.
Yeah,
that
she
makes
her own devices.
Well, yeah, she's the most vulnerable, so it made the most sense, that it
to
would
go
be
after her. Yeah.
it would be her that would be the one that taken away. That made.
I liked the subsequent of events that made that occur. Well, first of all, to go off of Liesl's comment about everybody was having a good night, Amren and Varian were having a good night. Is all I gotta say.
Hilarious.
They were having a great night.
Can
I
Amren
just
running out in Varian's shirt?
And him with at least he had pants.
What's so cool about Amren and Varian's relationship is that it's a very all-powerful being, kind of just being with, I don't want to say nobody, but this level, like a low-level guy who probably doesn't have much magic, more of like a grunt soldier.
An average.
I like how she's just enthralled by him somehow, and so that's very cool.
In his presence.
Oh yeah. I like the song. I like the idea of them. It was a very cinematic moment of them all coming together and then them slowly realizing, oh, Varian's like, oh, so y'all guys are made, so that's why you hear it, and then them being like, oh shit, where is she?
Hear all this. Wait, who's the only one that's not here?
It was a very cool cinematic tension to me, at least. When I
burst into her chest, going through the pillows as Nesta was, and she's not there, and then dun-dun-dun, just outside of camp, you find her cloak. Why was that left there?
Yeah, and then Amren.
What would have happened if they didn't go after her?
I mean, what? Tamlin would never be redeemed, I guess. In a little.
Yeah, I mean, because it was a trap.
Oh yeah,
right. Like that's what leaving the cloak was about. Yeah. Was the leaving the trail.
Sorry, I'm just trying to. It was a trap, but
The thing is, we personally think that it was the cauldron, because it said in the book that the king was completely surprised when Elaine appeared in front of him, and he just casually had her chained up in his tent.
Or the book kind of suggested that the fact, maybe not necessarily a trap, but the cauldron was so mad that Nesta was getting getting closer to it and connecting with it and shit, that it took the one thing that that was a part of her and she took its power.
To bring her children.
I know that, like, we already discussed how we think it's stupid about Grayson, but the fact that Favor specifically saw a dream of Grayson appearing and talking with Elaine and then them wandering off.
Yeah, because that was the trap.
Yeah, it was a trap for Elaine.
Yeah.
Dumb bitch.
It's like, literally, he just told you to your face that he basically hates you. Why do you think he's gonna be here calling for you?
What the hell?
That reminded me of the freaking Puka and her dad at the beginning. It's just like, how do you think he's here? Like, he's not here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
He's not physically here. It's not possible.
And then, thus, right after that, Azriel and Feyre going into Hybern camp and rescuing her, and her very excited reaction to being rescued. And thus their escape from Hybern.
Yeah.
You've come to save me.
Like, wow, you've come.
Oh, I got here.
God, we're hating on her so bad. We've done it all season.
I mean,
Yeah, it's just nagging on her.
If Dad lays into her, it's gonna be hilarious.
I don't really know about her. He doesn't really talk much about her.
Well,
We're gonna see.
I kind of, just to start out, I was kind of like Jenny. I was surprised they did it immediately. It's like, wait, we're going like right now? This is this is bad if we go here. I understood why they needed to go, because they feel like they need to go right away, but then...
But also, it's like it's on the eve of battle. Like, they should be, like, battle planning, not chasing after Airhead.
That's true.
Well, did you have a different opinion of that?
Well, I mean, he took the one person that they knew, or the Cauldron knew, would set him off. That,
The innocent.
the one person that couldn't really defend themselves.
And the fact that the king wanted both Feyre and Nesta, who is the centerpiece of those two, Elaine.
Yeah.
I will say, if they left any later, they may not have been able to use Ianthe as a disguise.
True.
Yeah, because nobody knew that she had been eaten, whatever the hell.
Because it literally happened a few hours before.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right, Liesl.
Yeah. They had mentioned that. Favor had mentioned that. I guess they would find out if, they knew she was dead. She walked into camp. Like, well, yeah, that's a good point,
Let's hope.
I guess you'll know.
I kind of liked during that scene, though, Azriel was kind of just, we saw more of his power, which is like something I really want to
He was
see
just
more.
her shadow.
Yeah, I did like in this book how much Azriel got, like, to see more about him. He was not just this, like, silent, broody dude in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
He actually does stuff.
Yeah.
I'm always being a silent, broody type in the corner.
Well, yeah, but...
More than that, yeah.
I don't know, because, like, in the other, like, he just goes off and he's a spy master and he's, like, away and doing stuff and don't really know what he's doing or how he's doing it or anything like that. And then when he's present, he's already given his report. So he's, like, not really an active character.
He's just quiet and wandering.
Right? But in this book, he's just, like, does more. And, like, you have a better sense of how he works and, like, how his shadows work. That he cares about, the family.
Yeah.
I like that.
Can I just say how perfect it was, though, that, like, Azriel's siphon literally just happens to be blue, so it totally fits with the silver handle holders that she makes into a crown.
Yeah.
Perfect shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I liked that whole scene because it was also setting up the Hybern host, how lethal it was. We brought up Narnia so much during our podcast episodes about how that whole camp seemed like that the evil ice witches.
Oh yeah, with all them creatures roaming around and shit. Yeah.
That's how, like,
Camping and bonfires.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that, but yeah, that's what.
So
even in the war part, we started talking a lot about Narnia.
But also, like, the Tolkien world, right? In Mordor, there's and all the different orc armies, and it's kind of the same thing.
It kind of, we'll get into it later, but it kind of reminded me of The Hobbit, the third part of The Hobbit.
Yeah, the Battle of the Five Armies.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I was going to say that later, too.
We'll bring that up again. But yeah, continuing with this rescue mission, what do you think of the fact that they got discovered and so then they had to get out of there, but Feyre wouldn't leave that one child of Bless that was still alive. And so thus
Briar.
And the fact that while Azriel was running, Elaine was just screaming her love, like, if you value your life, the fuck on. And she was one, like, keeping all of these Naga hounds. And it's like, where did this girl come from? Like, Elaine ahead of you before.
Right?
Maybe a little hope for her.
Yeah. So the whole flying escape of the hounds chasing them and Azriel's trying to teach her how to fly on the spot.
I know, I was thinking, like, it's like giving really coachy instructions in this, like, moment of flight or like running flight.
Right. While his wings are bleeding and he's carrying two girls.
Two people, one's like screaming and the other is like, what? I know.
Philosophy.
Yeah. Well, you had to know she was not going to leave that.
That's true.
Because as soon as she saw her, she thought of Claire.
Yes.
So I guess that was kind of her Claire redemption redemption. She wasn't going to leave her there.
Yeah.
It's all good as long as they survive.
Right, as long as they don't killed. So the flying escape, and then what do you think of Tamlin coming in? Redemption arc kind of thing, giving her a boost of air to get off the ground.
So this is so stupid. When I was listening to this, they said Tamlin, but I was thinking Lucian for some reason. So like,
oh, got it. Yeah, that would be a little bit more confusing.
yeah, and only till like the end of the scene. Tamlin.
That makes more sense.
Like
Yeah.
I should have gone back and re-listened to it, except that I only got so many hours left until,
Right.
so I didn't have time to re-listen to that whole scene.
Yeah. Honestly, Lucian doing that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, at this point for me, Tamlin could drop dead. I don't. I'm sorry, but like I said, when we did the other one, when I found out he was such an ass, when I was devastated, and now it's just like the man. I really don't.
There's no level of redemption for you.
Yeah, he's just whatever.
Yeah, so like what really was his motivation?
I think that's up to each interpretation, because I feel like what author intent was it that of it being genuine?
Like, he still cared for her, even though he hurt.
That, I know you're shaking your head, but I'm saying the author intent of giving her that, like, okay, he didn't want her to die. Can't, because like as soon as the Hybern was going to reach her, she would die. Like, I don't want you to die. We have this feud between us, yeah, like, but I don't want, like, I loved you at some point, and we were together, so it's like I wouldn't want to mean you harm.
It did feel like Tamlin also, as much as I disagree with all of his past actions, it felt like he was looking for a way to escape from Hybern.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. I mean, because I think, honestly, if I'm giving him a slight benefit of the doubt, ever since he realized, once Feyre left and everything, of just like, oh yeah, that was a stupid bargain that I made with the king. I need to get out of this. Then he took that opportunity to, save her and then also escape with them through the hole that Feyre made in the ward.
Mm-hmm. I suppose that's true. I mean, I guess that's kind of a turning point for him. Then it was like a surprise at the end what he was going to do. So like, why was it a surprise at the end if he had already made his choice in this moment?
That's true.
Right. But here's the thing, the challenging thing about the Spring Court, right? Like, it's a borderland, right? And so it's kind of a shitty position to be in, right? Because if Hybern wants to attack below the wall in the human lands, like, he has to go through the spring area. And so like, that's kind of shitty. Like, it's a really shitty position to be in.
Agree.
So like, there's no winning that situation, which, I mean, all of world history is full of regions like that. Like that. That's why Afghanistan is such a poor country, because it's been like trampled by massive powers, right? And they can never like be themselves because they were always trying to like just survive between these massive powers. So
that's true.
Yeah. So you bring up a good point. Like, even if like Feyre did stay with him and they lived that apple pie life or whatever the hell, still would have been in this position, or even worse off maybe if,
Tamlin
are on the border.
Yeah.
Hybern would have still come regardless.
Yeah.
I mean, the only way he could have done better is to ally more broadly, not just with who is like right next door, like Autumn or whatever. Like, could have made better alliances generally and not been such a dick. But
he went against his own people to go with them first. He was so enamored of the woman.
Even though that woman was literally defending his sentries for him.
Oh, speaking of that, I love that part going back to the very beginning. Feyre's whole conniving and turning the sentries against Tamlin, like about being nice to them.
I guess. Yes. So yeah, like, part one of the finale, kind of like the intro into the end. I just want to talk about Moore's big reveal that she's, because when they come back, she's finally, let's air it all out. I don't love Asriel. I've I have been leading him on for 500 years. I actually like women, but I get sexually attracted to men, and it's okay, but I really do love females.
The preference of females.
What did you think of that? I know. Say it.
I love Moore. I really do, but this part turned me against her in a way. That's bullshit. Poor guy is fawning over her everywhere. She knows it, and she's just stringing him along. It's like, I just want to, fuck bitch. Got this nice guy, and he loves her so much, and she's just like, dangling stuff in front of him, and then pulls it back, and then it's like, I lost a lot of respect for her. I could give a shit less that she's gay, and like, it's just what she's doing to him, and for how long she's been doing. Come on.
I mean, I said this in the very first book too. I just have a problem with this like 500-year-old people thing, because like after 500 years, you need to get your shit together. Like, you can't be like in the closet for 500 fucking years. I'm sorry.
Or you can't do that and also to string along this guy.
Right.
Slow develop? I don't know. Like, does their develop, you know how you have brain developed at 25? What if theirs really developed till you're 500?
Yeah, right. That's what it seems like.
Alex said in the first book that Fae children don't even become adults until they're 70.
But still. Okay, so 125 figured out by then.
You would think.
But I agree with Mary. Like, at some point, I mean, she said, kind of made an excuse of like, there was a moment, but then it passed and then I couldn't say anything. I get that kind of in that moment, but like, it's still at some point, like, you guys are supposed to be like family and family, chosen family that love each other. And so like, you just need to like be yourself and like come clean. And since she's like bisexual, like, I mean, they can have like a conversation about it. Hey, I don't love you, but we can be like WBs and shit.
Right.
And or at least give him that choice. And she never gave him that choice.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. She kind of did all the assuming even in that phase of, oh, he would want somebody that wanted to make love, not fuck around.
But she didn't give him that choice. And she should have given him that choice.
I see.
For a court that's all about choice.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a big bombshell to bring it. Like, it's such a, I don't want to say a small thing, but I mean, compared to what rest happens, it's kind of like, oh, you're, oh, okay.
Yeah, like, nobody's gonna give a shit she's gay. I mean,
other than her parents.
But yeah, like, she has such a great relationship with her parents.
Whatever.
No, we agreed. We agreed with everything you were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lost a lot of.
So then the next big event was Feyre finally, after they saved the humans that night, Feyre finally facing the Ouroboros mirror and getting the Bone Carver's approval in this, well, not approval, his hest.
Yeah, his hest.
She passed test.
Yeah.
What did you think about what she saw in the mirror and just that idea in general of seeing yourself and loving everything?
That's hard. I mean, I can see why people would go mad. You know, most people don't. You know yourself, and you know, you don't necessarily, you want to see the good and the bad. You just want to see the good, and then when it shows you, you know, you're truly bad, it's like you don't, you know, I could see going mad. Kind of like Mirror and Harry Potter.
That's why I thought that too.
We brought that up.
You know, because it was like it showed you what your heart desired. And you could go mad sitting there thinking, well, yeah, you know, I have this, or nobody wants to look at themselves that deep. I'm pretty superficial. I don't want to, I mean, I already know what's there. I don't need a mirror to tell me, but yeah.
Yeah. But I think there's a difference between people who are like, everybody has things that they're ashamed of, things that they want to be, or I think that's the correct. Not everybody wants to be better. Some people want to take those bad parts and either lean into them and just be bad, or pretend that they don't exist and make excuses for them. And Feyre never, like, she always wants to be better. She always wants to be doing the right thing. She always wants to be being the best she can be. And that's what wins. That's how she's able to see the bad parts, is because she knows that doesn't define her.
Yeah.
I think so. There was a theory that we came up with of why everyone else went insane and she didn't. Like, we think that once you look into the mirror, there's like a tether basically. So it means that like you have to look at yourself. You have to look at your inner self. And if you look away, that's what drives you insane, because it snaps that tether of like you are basically rejecting your inner self. So therefore, let's go insane.
And you might constantly seeing yourself at random moments throughout life where you're just seeing that whether monster creature or whatever the hell you're going to see, he's just going to pop up like out of nowhere and like, oh my God.
That's our theory on why people go insane. But she didn't go insane because she didn't look away. She sat there and cried and looked at herself and dove into whatever herself was.
She had a full Oscar moment, full scale of emotions.
Yeah.
And
crying and begging for it all to stop, but not looking away.
So sadly, this was another section where I wasn't paying like super close attention. I know this is terrible.
You're going to have to listen back.
I may have to. But did she accept and forgive those parts of herself?
Yes.
Or like...
Yeah, I think there was more of an emphasis on she just accepted it.
Yeah.
She accepted all of the things that she messed up on. She accepted, killing those two fairies in the first book.
Yeah.
All that stuff. And that's what helped.
Okay. Because in my not paying super close attention to that second, what I took away from it though was this, when you look back at yourself and all of the ways that you were, is like this inner child, right? Like, you have to forgive your inner child because your inner child didn't know any better, and your inner child was doing the best that they could do, being young and naive, and right. And you have to forgive yourself because you can't change your past. All you can do is learn from it forward. And so if she accepted those, then that's what lets her be a more whole, good human.
And I think maybe that's just our generation or something, but I think why it hits specifically me and Liesl a little bit harder is because I don't know if society now, or I don't know if it's, again, our generation, but there's this level of we can't screw up, or there's this level of we can't have these moments of messing up.
We're not allowed to make mistakes.
And that it's, or that at least from what I have felt, and I think we both did that, of this expectation of betterness than the generation before us, but also, you know, not feeling like we could have that childhood of messing up this level. Like, we got to grow up so fast.
Yeah, Jen did grow up very fast. And
like, yeah, so it's like having to, again, every generation has to deal with tragedies and like stuff going on in the world, but it's like, it feels like everything is so fast paced now. No, you're not allowed to mess up because the economy's bad, or, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, you can't have this, you know, you trying to move somewhere else. And, you know, it's like there's this level of negativity around failing and around just, I don't know.
I mean, I think for your generation, your whole lives are recorded.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so there is a sense that you can never get rid of your mistakes, especially the more online you are, right? Like if you were doing videos, I mean, it was before TikTok, but everything is recorded. And so you can't just like...
Once it's on the internet.
Yeah, which is true and not true to an extent. That's the other thing. It moves fast. So like you are able to redeem yourselves. And I think it is part of being young is you don't realize that you can redeem yourselves. Even though it's recorded, I think the rest of us, for myself, like giving grace to people, like people make mistakes and we know as older people looking at younger people, like you're going to screw up. You're young, you know, like, and you too, like you're not even 25 yet, talking about like, you know, not being fully formed until you're 25, right? Like you get a lot of grace for that, right? And I think
Darn, I still have 3 more years.
Turning into a therapy session, but like...
don't even tell me I'm turning 25 next year.
You'll be an adult next year.
No more grace after you're 25.
No more grace. No more grace.
Use all you can in this year.
So I think you have this perception, because everything is recorded and everybody can see what you can do, that there is no forgiveness. I think that's a warping of your perception. I think you do forgiveness, you just don't have the perspective to see that you. I think it is both the time in which you're raised and also your perspective being young.
I didn't know if you had anything more.
I don't agree with a lot of that, because like this generation seems to be, you guys did have to grow up a lot fast. I understand. But everybody makes mistakes. We all, that's part of growing up, part of who you are. And nurture, you know, that's how you make yourself better. But I think you see so much negative stuff all the time that you just get it in your head that, oh my God, I can't do that everybody's gonna know. You know, and it's like, it's all this negative. I mean, you know, you talk about my generation, one of my Generation X, I think is what it is. Drinking out of garden hoses. I was a latchkey kid. That stuff. Parents you out and, you know, in the summer at 9:00 and you didn't have to come home until the street light. You know, how they didn't know where you were. I mean, but you know what I'm saying? I think it's just all this constant negative stuff keeps coming that makes you think that. And that's not really how it is. I screw up every day. It's true. I do. I think a lot of that is pressure that you guys put on yourself, that you shouldn't have to do that, that you don't need to do that.
I'm just saying about the kid thing though, isn't it like also the parents' negativity of like, oh, you can't go after dark because all these terrible things.
Yeah.
Isn't the same though?
Kind of, yeah.
So then, so before then after the Ouroboros.
And that pissed me off. That mirror didn't do more than that.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
Well, now she can
cool things.
She can conjure it when that maybe it's like the magic mirror.
But I thought maybe this poor guy would get to see where he's from, and also it served another purpose.
Did nothing.
That. I mean, it's like, oh, this is a bummer.
So then, what did you guys think of the very again? This is like before the actual battle, but the very every hit surprise coming in. First it was obviously Rhys giving his whole big speech, and then them starting to fight, and then Baron, Tamlin, Grayson, and them coming in, and then the other where the Highburn people came, and then another horn, and Vasa, and the dad. What did you think of that sequence of events of like everything being so? They thought they were going to be alone, and then everybody comes in and makes it a whole big
Battle of the Five Armies, totally.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because I understand what you guys are saying, but you guys are like speaking freaking Spanish to me because I don't know Lord of the Rings.
I'm going to be honest. I've never read. I have them
or never seen it.
I haven't watched the movies because I don't want to until I read the books, and I haven't read the books.
Yeah.
Kind of get the drift though. I'm not totally.
But basically, the third part of The Hobbit with the Battle of the Five Armies is basically just the small. What is it? Who starts it? I forget.
It's like there's men, there's like humans.
Yeah, so the humans are fighting, and there's a few extra people who are there helping out, and it's a very small amount of people who are there, and then all of a sudden elves show up, and then all of a sudden different dwarves from different mountains show up, and then there's so much fighting, and then finally, the main dwarves come out, and they're like, okay, we're here to help and lead everyone, because everyone's failing. We've got this now.
Right, and then finally, there's like a whole like eagle army. Like eagles, like what the fuck?
The big eagles, yeah.
But they're like giant eagles, and Gandalf is like riding. Is it Gandalf? It's like riding an eagle into this battle, and like come from out of the north, and and it's like, but it's the same thing. It's like
everyone coming.
It seems like they're gonna lose, and then this new allied army shows up, and you weren't sure they were gonna show up. And, oh, they are with us! Yay!
Even though like dwarves and elves hate each other, the elves showed up.
Right.
Fight against the tyrannical.
I've seen the part where he comes in on the. I've seen something.
You've seen more than me. So.
Like the seraphim showed up. That's like the eagles. I'm like, of course, like this like flying angel army. Of course,
The hot Spaniards. We figured
Spaniards.
Oh, do they?
They do. And Bus is Irish, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will kind of devil's advocate. Jenny said earlier about Vasa. I actually thought opposite of her getting introduced, because it's like we knew about her from like second book, and there was a level of like, what happened to her? What, like, it was all set up to a T, to the point where I thought it was really cool, especially in the graphic, but just when I read it, of this term of this big boom, and then all of a sudden this firebird going over and just hitting the Hybern host right off the, like, we knew she was cursed and that
she's bad, but she has an ulterior motive. Like, she's still bound to this like daytime nighttime curse thing, right? And so she has an ulterior motive to break this curse.
So you think she's evil?
I think her motives are not aligned to the Fae.
Like, she's mostly doing it just so she can break the curse.
Yes, that's what I think.
Well, I could. Okay, I see.
Not
that.
Necessarily evil, just focus more on the curse than actually helping them.
And not really invested in what's going on.
Right.
Everybody has their motivations in this fight. Different motivations for this fight.
And you also don't know who's her.
Right.
We don't know anything about who that is.
That's true.
What did you guys think about the fact that Papa Archeron somehow
Papa Archeron, really?
That was so fucking random.
Exactly.
But like, there was some foreshadowing, because they kept mentioning about how he like disappeared.
He was
overseas. What is he doing? And like, after years of doing fuck all, lying about not feeding the family, all of a sudden he goes off and does stuff. What the hell?
It is said that he was overseas trading.
Or they went
trading what?
Went to a meeting about above the wall.
Yeah.
See, well, what that brought to my attention was their mother. We know zero about the girls' mother.
That's true.
My opinion is, I think she's Fae, or she was maybe a half Fae.
That makes sense, or something.
It really didn't affect. I mean, it was, as far as like closure for the three sisters, but as far as like what it brought to the story, I mean, you bring him in, he comes in, and he gets his neck snapped.
I agree with Jenny. There's a level of they wanted to have their death, regardless of whether or not like he actually did jack shit for them. I think what, especially on a reread, and I think Liesl and I covered this on our episode that I wanted to gauge you about, was like the fact that everybody was so pro Papa Archeron. Like, he's such, he cares so much about. It's like those people on that journey that he had knew more about him than they ever fucking.
Yeah.
And so
there's the fact that Vasa was just like, he was incredible. He was such a father figure to me, and it's like telling that directly to Feyre and Nesta, of all people.
It's like, what? Fuck, dude.
I appreciated the level of depth. I like how it was more than just, okay, he acts Machina, comes, saves them, and all's forgiven.
Yes.
There was a level of depth to that.
I think Nesta was not expecting for Papa Archeron to say that he loved her.
Oh, no.
She was like, well, I've said all these terrible things to him, please let him go, that kind of thing. And he's just like, I love you. And then dead.
Oh, yeah. So, sorry.
Yeah. Going right into that, the whole thing with Nesta and Cassian, and then the king, drawing the king out, and them having their whole thing, which we're seeing this from Feyre's perspective, because she's connected to the cauldron, which lucky that she's connected to the cauldron so we can see it. So what did you guys think of that whole thing of, Nesta and Cassian, King, Cassian getting beat, and then Nesta trying to fight the king and kind of struggling, and then of course Papa's death. It's kind of just covered, but what do we think about that?
I mean, it made sense.
Oh, and I guess I should add on, and what about Elaine coming out of nowhere? Yeah, okay, that sums it up.
Well, I mean, the whole thing with Elaine shocked the hell out. What the hell? Why is she there? What is she doing? And why all of a sudden now stab this guy in the throat? I mean, she's been like, docile little void somewhere. And then now he's stabbing the king in the neck. I mean, come on. That was
real knife.
I love how you called her a void because I was going to say one.
Well, I don't know what else to say about her. She doesn't.
Like, void, that was perfect. She's like a nothing. And then all of a sudden now she like is the only person who's able to kill the king. Like,
literally comes out of nowhere and uses Azriel's truth teller to kill the king.
Yeah, I mean, it shocked me. It surprised me. I was like, what the hell is going on here? But then it was like, he did give her a truth teller, so.
Yeah. For her.
I don't know, just weird.
3 things about the Elaine thing that just fucking boggle my mind. First off, so how did she get over there? First of all, like
appeared out of shadow.
She appeared out of a fucking. How did she? This all powerful
Azriel sent her there,
but he was fighting and he didn't he had Wayne's strength. There was no way.
Elaine was just chilling up at the camp,
unless the knife was imbued with some sort of his winnow power, like one winnow or something.
Or did
whatever.
Bring her somehow.
Exactly. How did she sneak up on this all powerful who can't be snuck up? How did she do that?
Appeared out of nowhere.
Again, this is so perfect on a reread because I did not think this the first time. I was like, oh, just killed him. Okay, that's kind of badass. And then I let it go. And then I reread it and I was, no.
Hold on.
That is weird.
Yeah. Where did it come from? How did she get there?
Where did she come from? Where'd
she go?
It was weird.
And why did Azriel give her
the
sword or knife or whatever the hell it is? Why did he give it to her? Out of everybody he could have given it to, why her?
You could say it was because of tension or whatnot, but Liesl and I thought that maybe it was she did it.
I still think there's more to her than meets the eye.
For sure.
We think with her seer powers that somehow she can make other people see things.
Yeah.
So kind of like Daimati mind control in that sense, but not.
Like she sort of
she made him
give her the knife.
Yeah.
I said it more as the night before. It was give Elaine the knife.
Yeah.
Prophesy.
That's like a Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
The droids you're looking for.
Give Elaine the knife.
Yeah. Do that.
No, I'm sorry. I love how she did, Liesl did that, but with the Spock hand.
Did I?
Yes. It's like the thing.
You have to bend your fingers. To be a benediction, you have to bend fingers.
It's like,
yes.
You can't
I
do
didn't
that.
even know I did.
And then Star Wars, I think they just
this is not
wave that.
Yeah, it's just a
wave.
Yeah, you want.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think with the Nesta and Cassian scene though, because if we're going back to the romanticness, I loved how epic it was, but also I hate that it had to take a life and death thing for them to finally, or at least him to finally fucking admit it.
kiss.
Oh, I was so thrilled. I was finally.
Although she still made him lean up, even though his wings were
that's what I was
broken.
thinking. I'm like, he's fucking dying, and he really. And I was thinking about that. Is really a kiss the only way to express love and connection to somebody?
Who's not really emotionally speaking? Yeah,
I guess her level of that was going over him.
We're gonna die together.
Yeah, I think that was her level of. Nesta was such an interesting character to me. I'm not saying I necessarily forgave her at this moment, but I was like, there's more to her, and I want to hear it. And especially with the king's last parting words for her of so untested, so young, her power will come about again. That is not the end of.
But yeah, so death of the king, that was death of one of the monsters on the battlefield. So what do we think about specifically the 2 main monsters that were bargained for and then died? The twins. They were twins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the twins, the Weaver, case Striga, and the Bone Carver. What did we think of their 2 deaths? The Bone Carver being shot by the cauldron, and then Striga having her neck snapped because the king likes snapping necks, apparently.
Eaten by dogs.
Yeah, the Naga hounds. Thrown to the dogs.
I thought it was kind of funny. It's she wouldn't have died, except then she got eaten by dogs.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of funny the way that it was written like that.
Yeah.
Pretty comedic.
I mean, it seemed like the bone cover knew he was going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Did he die, or did he just transcend? Was he free?
Right. We don't know where he went. He was just gone after the light passed.
Yeah.
Where do gods
Right.
Where he came from?
are they different that way than normal things?
These ancient monster people, they just don't even make sense to me. It's rules don't even apply, and yet they can be imprisoned. I don't know. I don't get it.
I wonder if he was there just because he wanted. He said he was from.
Oh yeah, I think he could have gotten out if he wanted
I'm
to.
sure he probably. His death bothered because I kind of like. And he was kind of a creepy. I don't want to say uncle because that's not the right word, but maybe a creepy cousin cousin talk to every now and then that's actually kind of smart. You don't want to talk to the real creepy.
So, did you ever see Real Genius?
No.
From the 80s with Val Kilmer?
Yeah.
Like, there was
I'm
like a dude who like lived in a closet, like the back of the closet, and went down into like the basement of the building, and he was just like this weird but cool dude who like knew all the shit.
Oh, that sounds like him. That sounds like
Yep,
him.
that sounds pretty accurate.
Laszlo.
And the Weaver, I mean, I care less about her.
I think what Liesl and I think, especially about Bone Carver's death, was that it showed the power and might of the cauldron than to be able to just snuff out a god like that. Again,
Well,
he
yeah,
probably
true.
could have gotten out of it half, because again, the death gods choose how they die. So it was the look to Feyre, and it was also
The hearing of the Weaver, the sister's warning.
but too late. That
And then
hurt.
the Bone Carver having a small smile on his face when he was covered with the cauldron's light.
Because they talked about going and where you go and whatnot, and so it's like it hit hard, especially just because there's so much other shit going on that I was like, oh no.
He was barely there for that long.
Because we saw him so much in this book, it was,
Well, yeah, I mean, he was kind of like, he was kind of like a serial kind of character. In a way.
Oh, surreal.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like he wasn't what you thought he was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, he's that creep. I don't know, 'cause whatever.
You'll just go with the creepy guy in the basement or attic or
we'll
whatever.
go with that.
Laszlo.
Whatever, but
Get down to the guy in the basement.
I don't know. It feels like that both of them died in this like whole thing. It's like the passing of an era or something.
Mhm.
yeah, could be.
I guess
Like, all of these monsters are passing. What's the next thing?
honestly, that helps me lead into what I was going to say next. I think I would, in this case, consider once Amryn returned to her true form, she would be considered a monster as well. And then she just like disappeared after her angel was done with her mission of wiping out all the enemies.
And we didn't think she was gonna die. We thought she was just gonna, because they made a big thing about how she just wouldn't recognize them. But like, I didn't think she'd just be snuffed out.
Yeah.
But it's almost like she used up all of her power just to snuff everybody out, and then it just petered off.
Yeah.
I kind of think if it resorted to her doing what she had to do, I think she was ready to go. I think it was his name, Varian. Is that how you say his name? He's the one who threw the wrench in there for her.
Yeah.
Because I think before she met him, she wouldn't have. You know what I mean? She was pretty, I mean, yeah, she loved everybody and all that, but I think she would have,
Damn it, I can't sacrifice myself now. I got this guy.
Yeah, and it's like, now I
And
finally
he's begging on his knees for her not to go.
That's sad.
He made it through the entire fuck battlefield to get out there to see her.
I know.
What a
I
beast.
And she actually gives him a little monologue of just like, actually my time with you made me feel more human or whatever. And then she just like yeets herself into the cauldron and he's like, no.
Yeah, that was sad.
This was also a member of our inner circle. Like somebody, again, like Jenny said, all the other monster characters were kind of, not no name, but there's a level of, okay, that's an easy kill.
Yeah.
To get that.
Yeah.
So what do you think about, before Liesl goes on to the other two things, or because there's a controversy again in the fandom that Amryn should have stayed dead.
It kind of made you wonder there when you were reading it if she was actually evil the whole time.
I never thought that, but continue.
Because it was like when she was talking to her there at the end before she went, she made it seem like she started talking like she was had a other purpose besides,
I will say her the one time when she threw aside the book and is just like, sorry, I need you to trust. Like, that's when I'm like, oh shit, is she gonna sacrifice Feyre? But that was the only time I doubted her.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of, I can see why, but down deep, I don't. But I can see how people think she stayed there.
Not necessarily, before I get to Jenny's, not necessarily because she was bad. It's this level of her death would have been more impactful if she just stayed, and then the whole story would continue.
Yeah, like she's a double agent.
I mean, I don't agree with that, but like
a double angel.
I wish I thought it. I think it makes sense that she's still, but also.
Oh yeah, it makes you wonder. There's that Colonel Ladown in there, and oh shit, what if she really was bad?
Yeah, no, I was like, of all the things, like the thing that surprised me the most was Amryn at the end going, "Psych."
But we'll get into that in just a moment. But we lost one of our inner circles to the cauldron, and then in the repairing of the cauldron, repairing their world, Feyre lost hers, and Rhys was dead.
Dum, dum.
And I said throughout this entire book, the first time I was reading it, I told Tabby in each of our book talks, Rhys is gonna die, and I'm gonna fucking hate it. And Rhys better not fucking die. And then he did, and I was very upset. So, what do you think of his death, and then the following High Lords bringing him back to life the same way that they brought Feyre back?
Well, just like in The Princess Bride, he's not dead unless he's faking.
Yeah.
That's true.
Who gets Prince Humperdinck? Jesus, Grandpa, why'd you tell me the story?
That's how I felt. Like, why'd you tell this story if he's just gonna die?
Right.
So he can't actually be dead unless he's just faking. I knew it wasn't faking, but like I knew that wasn't the end.
There were still like 50 pages left.
Well, 2 more books. Come on.
Well, especially at the time, knowing that nobody would have, that seemed very finito.
Yeah, since at the time this was the end of the trilogy.
Yeah, but still, this is not Dostoevsky,
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
right? Like your favorite characters don't die.
They're main characters that can't.
I didn't believe. I knew something would happen. I didn't know what would happen, but I knew something.
Did you expect the way that he was by?
No.
Did you expect the stay with the High Lord to come back?
No.
Surprise.
You know why I didn't think about the stay with the High Lord thing? Is because in all of the instances, it's not like the whole time Feyre keeps saying, oh, but they said stay with the High Lord. Oh, but they said stay with the High Lord. It was like things that stay with the High Lord, and then like that was the last thing that was talked about until she stayed with the High Lord. Right? And then it was like, oh, that's what she meant, or that's what they meant.
Right.
I didn't really think too much about stay with the High Lord as a whole prophecy or whatever.
Apparently it came up 13 times throughout the 3 books.
Yeah, she counted.
I'm gonna need receipts.
Okay, I got them. They're in the Kindle.
What'd you think of the horror dear?
I figured he would sacrifice himself, but I knew he wasn't going to be gone.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it was more like a redemption for him, the other people, to show them, hey, I'm not this evil bastard that you think I am.
Right, I'm
I
not.
sacrificed myself to save you. And I don't want to say redemption. That's not quite the word I'm looking for, but...
Redeemed him in their eyes.
Well, except for Baron, which...
I don't give a shit.
Let's hope
He can
Baron
go fuck himself.
and wipe him off the map. But anyway, I mean, it surprised me the way, like you said, I wasn't expecting him to be brought back to life that way. I thought it was going to be Feyre
Because you wouldn't think
that would do that.
that would be way. Then it makes sense why it is, because she's High Lady, and that's the only reason that worked.
Yeah.
Because that wouldn't have worked. Because when we talked about it in our main episode, that I didn't even think about when I read this first, I was like, no one would even thought about that. Bring back another High Lord, because they need the High Lord thing to revive the other person.
Yeah.
Like, this only works because she is also a High Lady.
Yeah.
They couldn't bring Helion back. You can't. Nobody else can have days.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that makes sense. But I mean, I just didn't think, I thought it was going to be her. Since she had all of their powers anyway, I figured it would be something she would
Right.
to bring him back. But I mean, it makes sense though, like you said.
some people in the fandom do think that first thing that Rhys says is your powers are still intact, and people think that he's lying, and then he actually does it.
He's more powerful than all of them put together anyway.
He
so
doesn't
who the hell
need-
cares?
He doesn't need that extra shit anyway.
No.
I did wonder about that though, like because Feyre got like little bits of everybody's. What did that do to him?
And he was just like, don't worry, no thieving happened. I don't have any of your...
And he wasn't like made,
Mhm.
right? He was just
He already had
like, she changed into a Fae, whereas he just got revived. So it's like
It suggests that, like, she, in order to be revived, she needed magic come Fae, which is why she stole little bits from them. But that's just theory. Whereas he was already Fae, so he didn't need to take any more.
but I am wondering what's different about him. Like he has to be different somehow, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you die and get brought back, or something.
Well, by the other High Lords, right? Like he had, even if he didn't steal parts of them the way that Feyre did, how is he different? Like how are his powers different?
Or maybe maybe he already had power from each one of them and they didn't know it.
Interesting. Here's the question: did you expect Tamlin to be there and actually assist with the revival?
That's on y'all. She's not asking me.
Yes. I figured he would show up somewhere that's how it was going to go, them needing each High Lord, that he would show up just to prove to her that, have a good life or whatever.
Yeah.
After bullshit that he did, he finally realizes after everybody's almost dead that she doesn't want his ass. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to give it without a bargain. I thought that would be a bargain.
Oh, that's clever. There probably should have.
I think he's just too much gone.
He hates himself already.
Yeah,
Like, he
and I
hates
mean,
himself too much.
It's like there was no mercy in his face as he stepped forward and dropped the light into Rhys and was like, be happy, Feyre.
There's no way. To me, he's not redeemable. Even this little thing, I don't.
I think that was him giving up.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, I see that you're literally sobbing and crying and begging for anyone to bring him back. I I can't do that for you, so I'm gonna head out. Okay, cool.
It was kind of like the stages of he had anger at the High Lords meeting, and then it finally like evidence of that they're no longer together.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's cool. I'm just saying like
No.
he finally went through his stage of grief. Yeah, so
yeah. But Rhys comes back, and Amren just happens to be chilling in the cauldron, and then it's time for the aftermath of everything, where everyone's gathering, and it's kind of a repeat of the end of the last war that happened 500 years ago, where it's like everyone's gathering, all of the humans, all of the different Fae, and Feyre's just like, okay, I'm Feyre. I was human. I'm Fae now. I would like to rediscuss the terms of the treaty. And she continues to host this whole meeting about rediscussing the treaty. So what did you think about like everything related to after the war in terms of like the meeting and everyone healing and stuff? End of the book.
I mean, it makes sense. I don't know if like other people know her well enough to trust her to be the like main arbitrator of the agreement.
Right.
it's kind of funny. Like they don't ever talk. Like it's like they talk about saying that they told their story, but there's a level of like nothing actually gets done. Nobody says anything. Like,
We don't
nothing
know what
gets
the
written down.
treaty is.
Yeah, it's kind of all like, okay, we'll reconvene on another day. And I'll just say, as a political person, like a political mindset, like that's never getting done.
Right.
Yeah, that's like our government right now.
There's a level of like, okay, you guys needed to either do it in that moment, because there's no way, unless there is another war, there's no way that you guys are all gonna be together once again in this what's fucked up about war at the same time, well, it's like in the aftermath, there is a level of we don't want to go through this again. There's this temporary moment, and like again, there's like so much political science about moments in time and in warfare, like things in general. They had their one opportunity, and I'm sitting here like, nope, they missed it.
I feel like maybe that was intentional, because in that sense, like if there is no treaty, then they'll just have to figure it out on their own anyway, rather than try and agree on things like the wall. Damn, that was a dumb idea. That totally split everyone apart and made humans for their history. And it's just like, okay, well, let's just see how we do without a treaty right now. And if it gets worse again and another war pops up, then we make a new treaty.
It brings up a bunch of the geopolitics that are now in play in terms of the wall is down. There's a level that these humans, they want to keep their land, but at the same time, there are Faes on the continent and even Faes like Baron here who want to ploy for land.
Right.
And so it's, I mean, even Tamlin to a certain extent could, because he's on the border, but I kind of like the geopolitics aspect of this new world, because then they don't really talk about it and it's kind of up in the air, which is leading more towards the rest.
Well, yeah, and at this time there's variables, whole thing, because you still got queens out there running around, you know, and stuff. But it's like, yeah, everybody almost died. We're gonna have a family meeting. You know, we're all happy
At their estate.
Yeah, and then you know,
Right.
kind of went, which you knew that was gonna happen, because nobody's after everything's said and done, you know. But I mean, I just think at this time there is too many other variables, because you don't know how much of Hybrid shit's left. There could be other things that you don't know about over there. You got queens, you know, you got the other assholes running around. I don't know.
So I guess kind of saying what the variables are here that is like leading up to these gonna be, I mean, obviously there's Frost and Starlight and Silver Flame, but there's gonna be 2 other books and 2 novellas. So it was obviously not close to even being done. Like Mom said, the queens are still a thing. They're still running amok on their own. Got Vasa and her own agenda. Jenny was saying that we don't really know her true intentions, either just selfishly or does she want to actually take some land up, or there's this level of laissez-faire that's going on. We got Lucian / his place in the world. And again, the relationships with Elaine, Asriel, like that is very up in the air. We got Bryaxis, God knows where.
Yeah, roaming around.
Probably more stuff than that, but I think what she did a really good job of, and if you guys can attest, is I liked the ending with Feyre and Rhysand. Maybe that was because of my very romantic mindset. I like this fact that they ended flying in the air above their city. And this tentative piece, you can feel that there's more to it, because even in that last chapter, like, there's like, what about this? What about that? He's like, babe, her sitting in her lingerie on his lap. He's like, shh, no.
Red lacy things.
We're not going to talk about those today. There's like tentative piece
that tomorrow about,
which I love, that this level of it's never going to be over. Again, we hope we don't go to war like this again.
At least not for another 500 years.
Yeah.
I guess overall, I wanted to see, especially, I mean, Jenny's opinion matters more here, of your big heavy hitters for what.
that?
No, of what's to come. You already know so much.
Oh, yeah.
You know more than both of them. But no, I'm saying like, because you've read all of SJM's books. So Frost and Starlight is the next little novella. And again, this is technically the end of Feyre and Rhysand's storyline. They will be people in the next book, but from now on, it's going to be in this omniscient POV, except if you are in Feyre and Rhysand's point of view. I kind of like that. I'll just say, as somebody, I don't write too much, but there's a level of writer in me. Feyre and Rhysand are the one-person narrators, and so everybody else's story is third person.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think's going to come up? Like, what do you want to see, and what do you think are going to be relevant for this next book?
I mean, what I would expect is that there's sort of this cut to a future where the revisiting the treaty kind of did, but that like people who aren't like wholly on board, or people who feel like they got screwed in the treaty, because that always happens, right? And so then they're trying to like figure out how to get their own, like, to work their advantage. I also don't know how the humans and the Fae live together, because the humans just don't have all of the magic. Like, that makes them an underclass.
Which is why they were enslaved before.
Right? You don't have bigotry, there's just power imbalance. And like, either the Fae who care about the humans, like, they're sort of like paternalistic towards them, or like, how do humans like have their own place in this world? And then there's sort of the whole Queens thing is sort of unresolved.
Yeah, they got their asses saved. They're just over there chilling.
So I don't know what happens. I don't know what I would expect to see. I mean, I guess that's what I expected, sort of like the cut to some distant future. Not distant, but like somewhere. It's not tomorrow, it's 50 years from now or something like that. Like, that's what I
down the road.
So like, I mean, I'm excited for you to, because Frost and Starlight is definitely one of those, everybody, there's a stigma that like, oh, you can skip it, and I'm like, do not skip, you can't skip it.
Everyone I've talked to about it, I'm like, yeah, so it's a novella, it's shorter, some call it a half book, it is not, please read it, it is a necessity.
It's a novella, it's literally not, there's so much plot.
It's a short,
it is a shorter book, so we won't have as much to go on, so our season, next season will be a little bit shorter.
The one thing when I finished reading this book that I really hope to see was I wanted to see Lucian, whether it's with Elaine or Vasa or whoever else happens to show up, he gets his happy end.
Yeah.
And Cassian and Azriel, I want to see them. I wanted to see each one of them find their person.
I forgot that me and Mom were both on the Lucian Vasa train for a little while.
The two redheads.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, I mean, it was just because, I don't know, he felt so dejected by Elaine. I mean,
you don't know what they on their point.
Yeah, I don't want to know. But I mean, I wondered, I mean, I'm sure Tamlin's going to appear again. I think his court is destroyed. I don't know if there's going to be any hope for him or not. Not that I really care. I mean, he'll appear somewhere, I think. But I mean, the one thing I enjoyed the most about this fact brought in the other characters, and you got new people that we met, but also like Praxis and, the Bone Carver.
Helion.
Yeah, those kind, but the others not scarier. The people that you didn't think would have as big an impact as they really.
Yeah.
That was nice to see something like that, because you really didn't have that in this book you had, and I enjoyed it.
Thank you guys so much for following along. We hope you really enjoyed our moms. We had such a great time. So again, just as my outro, so this is part 1 of our analysis. We will be talking about Dad next week. He was so hyped about it. Please follow and rate our podcast. It would really help us. Reviews are good for any podcast you do. It only takes like 5 seconds. And then please follow us on our Patreon for free if you can. And if you want to be one of the members, it's the High Fae for $3 a month and the Inner Circle for $5 a month, with early access to audio and videos and my show notes, as well as other little goodies along the way. And again, follow our Discord server. Liesl's been putting some good fan art and some videos on there. I've been trying to do some announcements, so we're trying to get that community up, which our moms are a part of. They're on there too. You care about that. Thank you all. We hope you have like a great night, evening, day, whenever you listen to this, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
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 You wanna hide away sometimes. I know